Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to the United Stands. I'm live. This is your Manchester United watch along for the Manchester Derby. I've got to say straight away, and I want to get it in there, that this is one of the worst United lineups I've ever seen in a Manchester Derby. That doesn't mean we can't win. That doesn't mean we give up. That doesn't mean that we don't have hope. The bench is better than the starting lineup. Why? There are a lot of things to digest here, but I'm not going to beat about the bush because I don't want to get clipped up later saying we were going to win a game that actually I think we are absolutely making this very, very difficult for ourselves. I mean, look, straight away, you look at that Man City, so you look at that United look at that United lineup next to me there, and then you look at that you look at that Man City lineup, and you go, yeah, it doesn't matter whether it's at Old Trafford, the Etihad, or down the local park. This is going to be a very, very difficult game if we're judging on the starting lineups. I suppose you've got to get into why the lineup is like that. But yeah, we are sponsored by Manscaped, by the way. I will talk about that in a minute. Remember, they've got this brand new piece of kit that's out. You can travel around. Brilliant, brilliant shave. You can get 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code TUS. Links in the description. Scan the QR code. We'll give you more about that in a moment, but we're here to talk about the derby and we're here to talk about this Manchester United lineup. Now, apparently, Erik ten Hag has said that this team has been picked for tactical reasons. Reguilon and Varane are on the bench. Obviously, Casemiro hasn't made the bench. I'll repeat again. That's one of the worst teams I've seen Man United put out in a derby, and I've seen that team for about 45 minutes now, and I'm still absolutely stunned by it. Absolutely stunned by it. I really am. I don't understand why Scott McTominay's starting. I mean, is he still living off the Brentford goals? He was absolutely below average against Sheffield United. He scored a goal and he had 9 touches. He was below average against Sheffield United. I thought in the first half against Copenhagen, he was the invisible man. And in the second half, he did okay. But I don't know why you'd pick Scott McTominay in a game like this, apart from he's from the youth. He's from Manchester. He's been here since he was 6. I mean, is that what we're doing now? We're picking people on... This is what Ollie did. Ollie did this. Why is Bruno on the fucking wing? You know, why is Bruno playing on the wing? What's that all about? I don't get that either. Really, Garnacho should start this game. I don't know what more he's got to do, but look, probably an impact player from the bench. But what impact is he going to have if the game's gone? That back four is dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. There's no tactical reasons if McTominay is starting, says Wickster. That back four is dreadful. If they keep a clean sheet, I want statues. Forget the class of 92 being the next statues outside Old Trafford. I want that back four getting statues if we win today. Because that is arguably one of the worst back fours I've ever seen United select. And not because I don't like any of those players. I like Dalot, I like Lindelof, I like Johnny Evans. But Johnny Evans is 35. Victor Lindelof is not a left back. Dalot's not had a rest in weeks and shouldn't be getting a rest tonight. And Harry Maguire, look, I get what Maguire's doing. He's had 2 good games against not very good teams and he's got all the PR out about bouncing back. I'm terrified of that. I'm absolutely terrified of that. As somebody who's been clipped up before, I'm terrified of what Maguire's done this week. You know, all the, I'm back interviews. Like, you should never have done that. You're not back because you played well against Sheffield United and Copenhagen, and then you got a Manchester derby. I mean, look. If Maguire plays well today, Seb's happy. I'm happy. I really hope he does. But I'm gonna give it straight. Man City are possession-based pass and move players. We've got 2 centre backs who are slower than a breadstick in Marmite. They're slow. They're slow on the turn. They're slow for pace. And we've got a team that buzzes around like Bernardo Silva, like Phil Foden, like Jack Grealish, like Erling Haaland. They're going to buzz around. Alvarez, they're buzzing around. And we've got 2 centre-backs who, even if you think they're good, they are really slow. And they're slow on the turn as well. I'm terrified of this game now. I think the excitement's gone to being terrified about what's going to happen. But there is always a positive, and you know I look forward to these games. There's always a positive. It's a Manchester derby, and sometimes in a Manchester derby or any derby, things can happen that you don't expect. You know, a performance can come that you just don't expect. And Wolves beat Man City a few weeks ago. So why can't we? Remember now, Harry has got a good record. Let's see him prove it today. He says we win when he plays. So yeah, looking forward to that record, says Kay. Well, this is what I mean. All these stats about Maguire and winning and everything like that. It's got to deliver today. So Ten Hag's leaving his marquee signings out for tactical reasons. Convincing, says Mateus. It's times like this where you'd miss Fred, says Barry. 5 at the back, I predict Mark, says Lee. Feel that it's imbalanced, but praying that it works, says Kevin. I think Lee, actually, can I just give Lee a nice little clap there? I think that Lee might have hit on something here, because I don't think he can play a back four of Evans and Maguire and Lindelof. I don't think he can. I think it has to be a back five and a front two. Logically, Lee, I think I'd be stunned if it's not Lindelof, Evans and Maguire as a three. Dalot and Amrabat as wing-backs, McTominay, Eriksen and Bruno as a midfield three, and then Rashford and Højlund as on the break. And I think we'll just hit on the break. I'd be stunned if he goes with the 4-2-3-1. I think he might have gone with the back five. What are your thoughts on that, though? For me, I always panic when we go and do something in a big game that we've never done before. Remember Ollie tried to do a back five to save his job, and it went, it did quite well against Spurs, and then we got battered the next game. I worry about that, but you might be onto something. And if it works, it works. Hello, Goldie, how's it going? I've played the game, and we may be slaughtered this afternoon, says Jack. With a back five, we might be all right, but being all right, well, no, he's warming up with the back four. Shit. Lee, sorry, you got it wrong. We're warming up with the back four here. Which is quite funny, really, because they're warming up as a back four with balls in the air. Man City don't play with balls in the air. Pray that Amrabat drops back and has a miracle game, says Greg. What's up, manager? Do you love and trust the manager? The boss just said the back four is a tactical move. Trust the manager, says Rule. Look, I'm not for turning against the manager. That's not going to happen. I don't know why people think I would. That was a little bit low there. Still a little bit low. What's gone wrong with my camera? Let's come down a little bit. Drop a little bit. There we go. That back four is going to lead to a bloodbath. I can only hope and pray we get away with it, but even the gods won't help us if we're this stupid, says Chris. You got to believe. We need Scott in this derby because he has the United DNA, says Sword. No Mount, Rafa or Anthony. Shoehorning as its finest. He's a moment, Eriksen too. Creative to leave out. Scotty is moments. You did Zidane, you've just typed in anger there. That made no sense. And also... yeah, look, we'll see what happens. Obviously, we're going to see what happens. That's what it's all about. Right, let me just take a little bit of a breath here because it's a funny old game, football, isn't it? And you do have expectations over the weekend, excitement. I was really excited when I woke up this morning, and I'm a little bit concerned now. But one thing I will not do is I will not sit here and say we've lost the game. Because that's a mistake I've seen happen many times. People write this Man United off, and it doesn't always happen. I don't get it, Mark. We're playing counter and playing our best passer on the wing, says Angel. Can I just say we're sponsored by Manscaped? I'm not going to be talking about this during the game, so I'm going to talk about it now. If you don't know what Manscaped is, it's precision engineering for your family jewels. Family ghouls. It's Halloween after all. But they've got a brand new piece of kit come out called the Handyman, which basically you take it on tour, you take it to work. Brilliant clean shave. I did mine the other day. I'm not really a clean shaver, but it is very, very good. Handyman's out now. They've also got the normal beard trimmer. They've got the lawn mower. They've got the weed whacker for up your nose. They've got everything you need in them for the modern man to groom himself. And you can get 20% off with the link in the description or by scanning the code next to me. Fantastic Christmas presents, or just get it for yourself. Be selfish, men. These are brilliant bits of kit. And the quality is absolutely fantastic. So make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe, but also make sure you use the code TUS. You'll get free shipping worldwide and 20% off. Big shout out to Manscaped. They are amazing products. And once you've got them, you will know what I mean. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much to Manscaped. What is Ten Hag cooking, says First Time. Ten Hag just told Sky Sports he picked Evans over Varane for a tactical decision and nothing more, says Kyle. I mean, if I speak, I'm in trouble, but Raphael Varane is our best centre-back. So if he has done that, I can't speak. I mean, it's as big as Ricky saying Varane's not much quicker than Maguire and Evans. I don't know. Varane must be carrying an injury. I don't get it, Mark. We're playing counter and playing our best passer on the wing, says Angel. There is no excuse not starting Reguilon and Varane. I'm scared, says Christoph. I mean, I think that they must both be carrying a bit of an injury. There was a talk from Rob Dawson that they weren't both fully fit. So that must be the case. Raphael Varane is better than Johnny and Evans and Harry Maguire's stats combined. He is better than them combined. He is our best centre-back. To not play him in a game like this, it doesn't make any sense. Nan says that Johnny Evans is starting is a recipe for a disaster. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. We have to wait and see what happens, but I just don't know. Off topic, very sad about Chandler and what's happening around the world. On topic, we're going to get spanked, says Talal. Yeah, obviously Matthew Perry from Friends died, didn't he? We woke up to that this morning. Very sad news. B. Yakov says it still baffles me to have only one CDM in the middle who can tackle. Well, the bench has got Binder, Mount, Martial, Reguilon, Garnacho, Varane, Anthony, Mainu, and Hannibal. The bench is better, even though the bench has only got what 9 players on it. I think the bench could beat the first team. I think 9 against 11, they'd beat that 11. That's how worried I am about that starting lineup. I think the 9 subs would beat the 11 starting. Off top, yeah, I don't know. India is winning versus England in the Cricket World Cup, says Shiem. I hope the match finishes soon. I'll watch the United match without any distractions, says Shiem. And Mark, do you think the new owner should be concerned with the physio and fitness staff given how many injuries we had recently, or am I overthinking it, says Mo? Well, I just don't agree. I'm sorry, I just do not agree that this is tactical. I think he's doing that for a reason. I don't think it can be tactical. Yeah, Paul Merson must be in the Harry Maguire fan club. He never shuts up about him. Manchester United are a better team with Harry Maguire in it. Bullshit, mate. Absolute bullshit. Paul Merson is fucking useless. I'm going to get him on Pratt Pundit of the Week. What is he talking about? I mean, has he got shares in Harry Maguire or something? He never shuts up about him. Manchester United are a better team with Harry Maguire in it. 17 clean sheets, 3rd in the league, 2 cup finals. He didn't play last year. Our best season in 5. Our best season with Harry Maguire in the club squad. You're talking out your arse, mate. Stop making stuff up to make yourself look hipster. You only have to look at Maguire's record when he plays for United. Yeah, you do, Paul. You do. Look at his record. We looked at it when you posted about it last time. Most of his games are at home. Most of them are in cup games against people like Reading. He doesn't play in the tough games. Let's see how he does today. I will be the first to give Maguire praise if we get a clean sheet today and win. But he doesn't play in these sort of games. That's why his record's so good. He doesn't play in these games. He plays against Stoke at home. He doesn't play these games. So let's wait and see. Maguire hasn't got much to lose in this game. People will be expecting him and United to struggle. If they lose, everyone will blame him. If they win, he won't get the credit he deserves. Mate, just shut up. You shouldn't even be on the telly. You're absolutely dreadful. You spout shit, mate. You really do. What are you talking about? If we win today and Harry Maguire plays well, he'll get man of the match. And I and everyone else will give it him. He's had credit the last 2 games. You know what? These people in the media do my head in. They go for Ten Hag. Oh, Ten Hag needs to go. Ten Hag's not doing a job. Oh, Harry Maguire, it's terrible how he gets treated. So they'll go for Ten Hag and they'll bully Ten Hag. If it's not even bullying, it's an opinion, by the way. But if anyone says anything bad about Harry Maguire, and they spin this bullshit all the time. I've not heard anybody say anything bad about Maguire for about 2 weeks because he's been playing well. If he plays well tonight, he'll get the credit. If he plays shit, people probably will say, this is the problem. You put him in the big games, he can't do it. Ten Hag says absolutely one of the best passers in the game, Ericsson. Give great distribution, but there are also other players in the team who have the capabilities to do that. He said on Mainoo's return, he's ready to play, be part of the match, and that's good news because we're counting on him. He's a midfielder. We need his qualities. Yeah, Mainoo could be really important over the next coming weeks. I really, really hope so. But yeah, it came from Manchester Evening News, Stephen Railston, that Erik ten Hag told MUTV that Victor Lindelof and Johnny Evans start for tactical reasons. But yeah, I can't see that. I just can't. I can't see that. I can't. It doesn't make any sense. That doesn't. You know, I think that if you were picking this team, right? Let me just say this then. There has to be injury issues because if you're picking that team and you've got Anthony, Varane, Reguilon on the bench, that's sabotage. Oh, hello, Seb. What you got? What do you want to tell us all? Come around this side. There's a space. What you got in your hands?
I've got a trophy.
What for?
The start of the match.
Yeah, basically man of the match, isn't it? Yeah. And there it is. Well done to Seb. What number do you wear?
I wear number 5.
Yeah, and Harry Maguire's playing today. What are your thoughts?
I think he's going to be good.
Good. Okay. Well, let's hope that one number 5's man of the match performance carries on to another. Better than Gary Neville, you are, as a pundit. There you go. Doesn't say a lot, but what he says, people listen. He did get man of the match today, and I did say that Harry Maguire will start today, so he's convinced that Maguire's going to have a good game. You know what, Mark? I'll back Harry despite people wanting him out. He's played well, and today will be the time to really prove himself. Exactly. All signs are pointing to Eric are very unstable this season. He seems very confused for the first 11 in the sub, says Minnie. I'll come back to that. My God, Pep is so confidently smug in his interview. He's like the next door neighbour who's just got planning approval to bulldoze the next door's garden, says Nicholas. Hi, Mark. Can you call my girlfriend Manzia Pratt, says Nickette. And Rashi, Hoyland and grenade launch burners Fernandez are getting ready. If you know, you know, says Franco. And what position does Seb play, says Mo. He's number 5. He plays at the back. He'll become a midfielder, but at the moment he's just focusing on tackling, which I think is always what I've only had 2 kids who play football, but I always start off with the physical and the tackling because so many players are terrified of tackling and the physical side of it. Sort that out, then you can do all the ball stuff afterwards. Hi, Mark. Remember when Brentford won 4-0? No, not really, Oscar. It's not really in my thought process. For Ten Hag's sake, this better be because of injuries, says Diego. And Mark, it's my birthday. Hope United salvage a win, says Chris. Look, we've not lost this game. I've seen Manchester United win games before that nobody thought we were going to do. And you're never going to get that out of me. Like, I'm never going to sit here and say we've lost the game. I'm never going to say that because that's just not how it works. And I've seen Man United win so many times when people write them off based on the team. I remember being at a game a few years ago where we played Chelsea at Old Trafford. I think it was the game where Herrera man-marked Hazard. And the starting lineup, and Chelsea were a good team at that point, wasn't great, and we won. And we're at Old Trafford, so we can win the game. But I knew Maguire was going to play. I didn't know Johnny Evans was going to play. So let's forget about Maguire. I don't understand Lindelof at left back. But the big one for me is Scott McTominay in the midfield. That's the one that worries me the most. I don't think he deserves to play. I don't think he's played very well since Brentford. And I think he's had his chance. And I don't really understand why we're picking him because we all know his limitations. Scott McTominay is good in the opposition's box. How many times do you think we're going to have the ball in the box for them today? So we're using him for his defensive capabilities, which we know aren't good enough. We're literally using McTominay for his defensive capabilities, and we know he's not good at that. He gets praise for scoring goals. The 3 goals he's scored in the last few weeks have been because he's in the opposition's box. I think today it's a bloody nightmare playing McTominay. I hope I'm wrong, but I really, really do. The way this game's going to go, and it doesn't matter whether Varane played, Casemiro played, Reguilon played. It doesn't matter about Mount or anybody. Whatever team you would have picked, I'd still be saying the same. The way this game goes today is probably 70% possession for Man City. They're going to dominate the ball and we're going to have to counter-attack. And it doesn't really matter what that team is. That is inevitable. Like, we're going to have to defend a lot, and we're going to have to counter-attack well. The issue that you've got is that Man City defence has got pace in it. It's got Kyle Walker in it. It's got John Stones in it. Has it got John Stones in it? Yeah, it's got Ruben Diaz in it, Vardiel. They're not slow defenders. They've got the best holding midfielder in the league, Rodri. Bernardo Silva is fantastic. Alvarez is in great form. Grealish is a good possession player. They've got on their bench, we've not even spoken about their bench yet, but they've got, I presume they've got Doku on there as well. Let's have a quick look. Let's have a look at the bench for Man City. So on the bench, they've got Phillips, Aki, Kovacic, Doku, Ortega, Gomez, Nunez, Bob, Lewis. They can mix and match. You know, they can do things. I worry about the game, but you know, regardless, even if we had our best team, and we don't, I still think we're playing counter-attacking football today. I back the manager, says Sean, but I'm just so confused why he's being like Ollie. Makes no sense. How can that be a tactical? Mount his energy. How is he not in over Scott, says Sean. When McTominay starts in the midfield, he's like candy floss to water. He just disappears. Do you think we'll get destroyed with that starting defence, says Daniel. Carragher was spot on, just another Ollie, says Daniel. And maybe the tactical reason is that Varane and Reguilon can only play a set amount of minutes. Maybe bring them on to see it out, but even that makes no sense to me, says Dorian. And for Ten Hag's sake, this better be because of injury, says Diego. Yeah, look, if Varane and Reguilon can only play an hour, play them for an hour. You know, start well. There's no point bringing defenders. Look, attackers, I get it. If you don't start Rashford and you start Garnacho, you know you can bring Rashford on for the last half an hour. But you don't not start your defenders, because there's no point bringing Varane and Reguilon on if you're losing 4-0. You start with your best defence. There has to be an injury issue there. But look, I'll go back and say this. Look, I back Ten Hag. I can't change what I am. I want him to do well. Anybody who says he's like Ollie is an idiot, because they don't actually monitor what we're doing in relation to passing stats, chances in the final third, passes in the final third. We're up in the top 5 in the league. In relation to winning the ball back high up the pitch, we're number 1 in the league. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer couldn't do that if you asked him to. So we're not playing football like Solskjaer, and the stats and the facts back that up. I think the biggest problem that we have at United, and you can clip this up now, or I'll talk about it again, because I will talk about it again. The biggest problem that we have at Manchester United is that the transfer window was shit, but some people want to pretend it's good. He wanted Kim Min-jae. He scouted Kim Min-jae all year. Kim Min-jae thought he was coming to Man United. We didn't get Kim Min-jae, and we didn't even buy a different centre-back. We bought a ball-playing goalkeeper, and he wanted Kim Min-jae, because he wanted Varane, Kim Min-jae and Martinez as his options so that he can play out from the back. We can't play out from the back. Maguire can't play out from the back. He's terrified of receiving the ball from the goalkeeper. He's fine when he's not under pressure and he can ping a 40-yard ball. He's very, very good at that. But playing out from the back is your centre-back receiving the ball under pressure. Lindelof hates it. Maguire hates it. Johnny Evans hates it. So we've ended up with a goalkeeper to play out from the back with, but we haven't got centre-backs who can receive the ball. So this is a huge issue, and I absolutely do not understand why we bought an Arna and didn't buy a centre-back, but that's on the club. And today is a prime example. We've got an Arna in goal. We may as well have De Gea. We may as well have a De Gea in goal, because Onana will not be playing out from the back today. So we bought a ball. We let a goalkeeper go, who was one of the best shot stoppers in the league. We let a ball play. We let one of the best shot stoppers in the league go, to spend £50 million on a ball-playing goalkeeper that we don't even use because we can't play out from the back, because we haven't got centre-backs who can play out from the back. It's ridiculous. And people don't want to listen to that because it doesn't fit the agenda they've got. But why haven't we got centre-backs who can receive the ball from the goalkeeper? Because he's got Johnny Evans that he never wanted. He's got Harry Maguire that he tried to sell. Martinez is injured. Varane's injury-prone. And they didn't buy him a centre-back. So if you're struggling to understand what United's problem is this season, it's that we bought a ball-playing goalkeeper and then we didn't buy the centre-back that can receive it. And that's why we're not playing out from the back. I was watching highlights of Onana in the Champions League final. It's like a different goalkeeper. The way he was passing out from the back, because he's got players who can receive it, is incredible. Can't back this. You said yourself the subs probably beat the first team. He's doing this in a derby. This is sad. Taxi for Ten Hag, says Darren. To be honest, Mark, I don't expect anything from this team until the takeover happens. Do you agree with me? I mean, let's be real, says Mohammed. And the problem I have with that team is that I feel like it's a cowardly selection. He was afraid to be brave and chose a safe team, but it's a crap team, says United Nate TV. I think United Nate TV's got it spot on. He doesn't want to risk Varane and Reguilon in a Manchester derby, is the line. Like, they are clearly not fully fit, and he doesn't want to risk Casemiro, Varane, or Reguilon in a game like this. Which means he doesn't think if he risks them, it's worth the risk, because obviously he thinks we're going to lose. I think Ten Hag probably thinks what a lot of you think. Let's shut up shop and try and get something. This is brutal with Bruno on the right, says Keel. Well, look, thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right-hand corner. We're only 200 away from 763,000, so bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Remember, we've got player ratings in the second half. Look at that league table. We are still currently in 8th place, but everybody's moving away from us, aren't they? Brighton, but specifically that top 5. We really could do with a result today. Will we get it? Will we get it? We'll have to wait and see. Can I just say to everybody in the chat who's saying sack the manager, if he wins today or against Fulham, the quickest manager in our history to get to 50 wins. I find it incredible, absolutely incredible, that there are people in our fan base saying sack a manager who is going to get 50 wins quicker than anyone else. Shame on you. Shame on you. What is it about this football club that you think's broken? The manager? Where have you been for the last 10 years? Why is the manager suddenly the problem at Manchester United? The defence is decimated. Absolutely decimated. Mark, are you praying for a result, said Ronald. You know what, Ronald? I'm just looking at the tributes here to Sir Bobby. And that's the most important thing today. As we look at some of those legends like Paddy Crerran, there will be a minute's applause, I think. Sir Bobby Charlton, forever loved. Well, let's hope that this can inspire some of these players, because they're up against it big time. But as we've seen before, the emotion of a day for Man United doesn't normally make for a good result. We saw last week with Sheffield United. We saw against Copenhagen. We didn't get this response that I think many people think we're going to get. And there's applause coming in from Ten Hag here. So I'm just going to applaud like everybody else. And I hope everyone's doing it at home. Even if you're sat at home just clapping, please do clap, because it is Sir Bobby, it is Manchester United. And that is something that really does stand for what we're all about. I'll tell you what, if it was about atmosphere, we'd win this game. But unfortunately, atmosphere is not going to do it. It's what people do on the pitch. Let's hope it's good enough. I expect a lot of Man City ball. I expect really quick transition from Manchester United. Look, you know what? At the end of the day, you never know. On the break, there might be something in it. There might be something in it on the break, with people like Rashford and Højlund. Even Sir Alex has played weird teams and got a result. Let's have some belief. I agree with Rohan. And hello, Mark. What's the next Cooking with Goldbridge video? Also, would you take Roy Keane over McTominay? Riz, are you having a laugh? Of course I bloody would. That's the thing about the media. No matter how false the narrative is, say it enough and idiots will believe it, says the Inquisition. If you put in this whole... If you're thinking Ten Hag out, there's no help. There's no hope for this football club. Greetings from New Hampshire. Why do you think we don't have a style of play yet? Spurs' new manager comes in and within months have transformed that team. You know what? 619 trading. I actually think this lack of a style of play stuff, and I've been guilty of it as well, I do think it's a bit of a myth. I think what it is a lack of ability in the final third, because we're winning the ball back more than anybody else in the final third, but then we're not doing anything with it. We're up and running here. Scott McTominay is playing as the number 10. Ericsson is playing deep with Amrabat. I mean, that makes it slightly better, I suppose. But, I mean, Onana's well out of his goal here. I mean, I'm worried about this. I am worried about what might happen. You know, we're leaving Amrabat with the ball. And I just think that... Who did you think Brian Kidd's heart is with, says Andrew. And we're going to win it, says Carl Robertson, so clip it. Well, City are not afraid to press Onana in this game. McTominay rolls it into Højlund. He's got to go wide there. And we get wide to Rashford on the attack early on. You know, maybe there's a surprise here. If we can't concede, can't concede in the first 30 minutes, we can't concede in the first 30 minutes, says C. Lou. And Lindelof puts it onto the roof of the net. If Eric Ten Hag didn't buy Mount, we'd have Kim Min-jae, says Phenom. Wayne Rooney is the next Man United manager, Zashkan. Have you seen what he's doing at the moment, Rooney? It ain't going well, mate. Look, I'm just hoping the fact that it's a derby, you know, the fact that it's a derby, the fact that anything can happen in a derby, I'm hoping that will be what happens. And we've won it back here. Scott McTominay's got to use this. Oh, he should have passed to fucking Rashford there. Why is he not passing there? This is what I mean. This you can't coach this. This is what we mean. You with that clip there is exactly why we're struggling, right? We are number 1 in the league for winning the ball up, ball back, high. You clip that. You fucking clip that and show it to Ricky, right? That's why we're shit. Because we're number 1 in the league for winning the ball back high up the pitch. So Bruno wins the ball back high up the pitch, gives it to McTominay. Any other team in the league, Spurs, Liverpool, Villa, Man City, they pass it to Rashford and he gets an easier chance. McTominay fucking runs straight forward and wants to get a shot off when he can't. And we do that all the time. It's not just McTominay. It's Bruno, it's Rashford, it's Anthony. We win the ball back, we get it high up, and some selfish twat doesn't pass and play the simple ball and shoots. That's why we're struggling this season. We do have a style of play and we're winning the ball back high up, but we waste the opportunity. I guarantee you Ten Hag sat there shaking his head, fuming inside, going, that's the chance to score. And some prat has just fucking tried to shoot himself when the pass is on to Rashford. But it's a good start, though. Honestly, wouldn't surprise me if today we get one of the spankings you said we would get, says Jim. Well, I've been very quiet about that. I did predict in the summer that we will get 2 or 3 spankings this year. I'm hoping that this won't be one of them. Eric needed to start most of the English players to honour Sir Bobby, says Joseph. Three minutes gone, though. It's not a terrible start for United. We're not losing yet, as many people predict we will. But it's no back. We're not playing a back 5. It's Bruno on the wing. It's Ericsson and Amrabat as the holders. It's Scott McTominay as the number 10. I mean, I will say this. If you're Mason Mount and you can see Scott McTominay playing at number 10, you must be thinking, why did I listen to Ten Hag? You know, I didn't come to bloody Manchester United to sit on the bench for Scott McTominay as a number 10. And I don't really understand why we're doing that. But, you know, that is on the manager. He could have picked Mount today. But Man City haven't started off particularly well. United have started off very energetically in these first few minutes. And I suppose Man City have got to settle themselves. It is a derby. Linden, thank you very much. There we go, Rashford. Go direct. Go direct. Lindelof offside. I get the shift change, Mark. Let's go, says Paul. Oh, he got his shift change. Yeah, I thought you were talking about then. I thought you were talking about Man United shift change. We've gone into a higher gear. But no, Paul needed to get the day off. Well done, Paul. I think Maguire. I think that was a good. I think Rashford there is trying to play the right ball. Well, look, first few minutes, more composure from Man United, and I'm not saying we would have scored, but I certainly think we've had the better of the first few minutes. A little bit more composure would have been nice, but you know, it is what it is. We are who we are. We do what we do. We got what we got. All the cliches. We're winning a lot of the ball at the moment. Winning a lot of second balls as well. Games aren't played from starting lineups. Games are played on grass, and you just never know. You never know. One thing I would say as well is, as bad as they've played in recent weeks, there seems to be and it's very early to say this, but there seems to be a better mentality to Manchester United. Which is something that we haven't always seen. People are saying, why is Johnny Evans starting? Well, they've said it's tactical, but I personally think there must be an injury problem. Hold on, City are in here. Grealish is going to play it wide. He's hit it too hard, but Bernardo Silva will keep it on. I think McTominay is there to block off the passing lanes to Rodri, says Yazza. Well, Man City were in a dangerous position, but we've got everybody back now. So, and this is what we will do. We will completely sit back like we are here. So many people, and that's how you protect Maguire and Evans. Look at how many players we've got around them. Look how deep we're playing. Good save, Jut. Oh my God! How have we kept that out? How have we kept that out? Anana. I don't know whether he makes a big save or not. The chat's going OMG. It was ridiculously easy. Look at this. Who's picking up Phil Foden there? That is fucking terrible defending. We're jammy. We're really jammy not to be losing here. Who is marking Phil Foden? I mean, Anana's save is weird, actually. But he gets a hand on it to stop Haaland scoring. And then Maguire clears it. But that's jammy, I tell you. We're really lucky there. Shocking defending. And again, not picking up the runners. Not picking up the runners. Grealish playing mind games with Bruno already. Hope Bruno doesn't get riled and get a card, says Wackass. Yeah, I think Anana, to be fair, doesn't get a good hand on it. But then he gets a really good second hand and Haaland unable to tap it into an open net. But look, fair play to Anana. Well done. But who is picking up Phil Foden there? I mean, I don't even understand what the job is in the midfield, really. I don't know who's doing what. Is it Ericsson? I don't know, but we've ridden the storm a little bit there. We have ridden the storm, and that's all we're going to have to do. We're gonna need to get a little bit of luck like that, and it is a good. I don't think the first save by Anana is very good, but the second one, you know, he got a second bite at it, and he just did enough. But Man City just starting to motor a little bit here. Bernardo Silva is in the box, and we clear it again. Please humble Man City for what their chants about Bobby, says James. Well, it was too fan. I don't think that reflects Man. I mean, as much as they're rivals, I'm not going to start saying that Man City fans are happy that Sir Bobby Charlton died. It was two idiots. Man City have dealt with them. We don't need to make it all about that, in fairness. We need to score first, says Haider. Well, yeah, I mean, it would be great to score first for many reasons, but it'd be great to score first because we can just sit in deep and counter, which is what we're going to try and do anyway. But if they score first, it makes the game plan very, very difficult. But look, it's not been a terrible first 10 minutes from United. Little bit lucky, but it was Man City's first attack. And in general, considering how badly we've played in recent weeks, it's quite well organised. Players seem quite focused. I'm pretty happy with it so far. Has Neville... Hold on. Hoyland. Oh, it's just behind McTominay, unfortunately, and Bernardo Silva clears it. Has Neville started supporting Manchester City? Commentary's awful. I think Gary Neville is in the Ten Hag out club, mate. I think a few people are getting a freeze on theirs. I can't do anything about that. So apologies. I'm not getting any dropped frames on my internet, and YouTube says the stream is healthy, so I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. I do listen to the chat, and I can't do anything about it. I'm sorry. Constantly falling out of live internet provider needs to open up the juice. Yeah, I can't do anything about it. Sorry. Yeah, you know what? I sense in the media at the moment, and maybe Man United will lose this game. Victor's not been very good so far. Well, he's not a left back, is he, Kevin? I do sense a lot in the media that they are pushing the Ten Hag thing out all the time. And I think it's unfair. Foden, that goes for a goal kick. All good in Thailand, says Pat. Thank you very much. Went trick-or-treating with my son and saw a few kids dressed as Haaland. Shows how far we've fallen. The next generation won't even know about Man United, says Varun. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Con says a lot of YouTube streams are doing it at the moment. Yeah, well, as I said, it's not my internet and it's not the stream health, so it might just be a bit of an issue. But a few people are okay, so that's good. Apologies if you're getting problems, even though it's not down to me. But, yeah, there's a weird thing at the moment. I was speaking to an ex-player, actually, the other day, and there is a real... It's almost like somebody just said earlier, if you talk about it enough, you can create the agenda. And at the moment, there's just a lot of people in the industry talking about Ten Hag, saying he's not improved players, he's not doing very well. Here's Grealish. Great pass to McTominay by Grealish. It's not a pass to McTominay, it's Hoyland. This is interesting. Look at the drive here. He's got Rashford in all sorts of space. He's probably delayed that a little bit, but he keeps the possession going. It's Eriksen. Samlet's scared if we score that we'll concede within 5 minutes. And Lindelof is left back is awful, says Aldo. That was a good breakaway by Rasmus, but it's just a little bit unlucky. What difficulty is this? Definitely not legendary, says Dylan. But I agree with Wahida. We've done well up to now. I would love to get the points here, but most importantly, I want the team to give a confident performance that allows them to carry momentum from here on, says Badder. Well, look, as a player, if you can't be organised, confident and up for it against Man City at Old Trafford, then you know these aren't necessarily the games. I know Man City have pummeled us a few times, but in the main, these aren't necessarily the games that we struggle to get up for. I think people write us off in these games, and we tend to do okay. It's the Brentfords, it's the Copenhagens, it's the Sheffield Uniteds where we struggle to get up for them, I think. But look, what did I say? The break is on. The break is on for Manchester United every single time. Let's have a quick look at the stats. I mean, I'm not normally that into the stats, but let's just take that and pause it for a moment. I mean, look, it's only 54% for Man City at the moment. I would confidently be saying that's going to go up to 70% at some point. But so far, it's not. which I think you have to take as an encouragement. Major Pickles has been a member for 2 months. He says, as great as Man United are, we have got much, much worse, says Major Pickles. But yeah, quite a tight game at the moment. And we are, 15 minutes in, around 50% possession. It's got to try and keep this up. It's been a relatively assured performance from United so far. In other games, Villa no, they've not won yet, but they are 3-1 with Luton. Fucking hell, Emi Martinez own goal. I had him down as a clean sheet. Bloody twat. Brighton 1-1 with Fulham. Fucking hell, that's a good result for. I mean, the results are looking quite good for us, apart from obviously Villa. Haaland, Onana's quick off his line there. Bloody hell. He was through there. Haaland, no pace in the back, but thankfully Onana doing what he's there to do. I mean, look at that. Maguire's miles out of position and Evans is playing him on. Oh, I tell you what, we're lucky there again. Højlund looks really strong and confident. I wish he would have taken on Ruben Diaz, says Lake on the moon. I'm not worried about those sort of incidents. We're going to have to get lucky at times. They are the best team in the world. I hate to say it, but they are. Why does it take a derby for the players to perform, says Kevin. We've only had 15 minutes, Kevin. Let's not say they've performed yet. Long way to go. Here's Grealish into Bernardo Silva. He's going to hold this up. Rodri volleys it way over the bar. I don't generally like Rashford, but he's timing his runs well today. We've got to capitalise on those, says Maguire's mum. Yeah, I mean, look, we've just got to hang in this game and certainly not concede first. But look, that's quite interesting with Brighton drawing with Fulham. You know, there's opportunities for us. I mean, we could go 6th today if we want. I mean, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's just focus on the game, Goldbridge. Let's focus on the game. Long way to go. And to be honest with you, Man City have had the best chance in this first 15 minutes. Header from Foden. Onana made a bit of a mess with it with the first palm away, but the second one was very good. Centre-backs must hate playing against Højlund, and I love it, says Sean. The difficulty with Haaland is the pace and the physicality. And the way to deal with Haaland is to have a deep line and midfield close to the centre-backs. Deprive him of the space. But I think this game will go in waves, and what we cannot afford to do is let Man City have 5-10 minutes of good possession. We've got to stay in the game. You know, if they attack, we've got to counter-attack. We've got to keep them on their toes. Hello, Mark. Wish all the good luck for Man United, says Callisto. Thank you very much. Thanks so much. I'll have a quick stretch here, because obviously it's a nervy game today. I'll just stretch me back out a little bit. Sometimes it's been good in the past. Don't say Haaland's overrated in the chat. Never say that. Somya, thanks for being a member. Well, 20 minutes gone. Pretty pleased with that. I mean, look, who knows what will happen, but I think we don't do ourselves any favours as fans, do we, sometimes? Because people start talking about 3-4, 5-0. And I get that. Look, we've not been good recently. Man City are a very good side. People start talking about 3-4, 5-0, which is obviously bad. But if we lose 1-0, it's still a loss, you know? I get it when people start saying, oh, we're going to get beat 3-4, 5-0 because we're not as good as them. But it's almost like then if you lose 1-0, it's fine. Like, we shouldn't even be accepting any defeat. It's not like we can afford, it's not like if we lose 1-0, that's fine. We can't afford to be losing games like this. We're at home. Wolves beat them at Molineux. We've got to, get confident, stupid. What's going on with Casemiro, says Nacho? He's just, wasn't fit in time. I think he'll be back for Fulham. Grealish. Ooh. I'll tell you what, it was going wide, but I think Onana felt he had to deal with that. I mean, again, it's just slow from United. Grealish here, just a drop of the shoulder. And Eriksen and Bruno, that shot shouldn't be happening there. It was going wide anyway, but Onana. Ten Hag tactics not involved with Amrabat at all, says Mehdi. Thanks everyone for tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. You got a free kick here, a corner from Man City. We should be good in the air, to be fair. You can see what I'm trying to do. We're trying to break. We have to focus on points this season. We can't fret over 1-0 against Burnley, etc., says Sezen. But I'm relatively happy with the first 10 minutes here. 20 minutes. Man City aren't having it all their own way. We should get the McTominay is crap thing back, says Faris. No, because he's not playing particularly bad at the moment. Johnny Evans taking the goal kick here. Into Onana. I mean, Lindelof's just in all sorts of trouble here. I don't know what we're trying to do here. Trying to play out from the back. It's weird, but we sort of got away with it. No, we haven't. Amrabat gives up the foul. Looked a bit soft. Not sure it was a foul. Mark, why is no one talking about the battle between the two most expensive defenders, says Brian. Lindelof's struggling a bit, says Ollie. He's not a left back. There ain't no way Reguilon was fit. It's not tactical to put Lindelof at left back. It doesn't make any sense. He's not a left back. Cross comes in. Good header by Delo. He's very good at that. That's one of those crosses from Man City where you do think, you know what, there might be a player getting on the end of that. We're trying to pass out from the back. Bruno's just whacked us a long ball there. But it's a bit scrappy at the moment. Crowd reacting to United on a couple of 50-50s here, which is what you want to see. You want to see the fans getting behind the players, get them up for it. It's a bad ball by Lindelof, but we'll intercept it. No, we won't. Delo and Maguire, what are you doing? It's all right, we've got away with it. I just wonder what Maguire was having a panic about there. Aman says, if you were a girl, I'd let you bend me over. Oh, lovely stuff. Right, what's going on here? VAR. What are we looking at here? Well, it's obviously against United because they're looking at something here. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Must be looking at a penalty. Oh, for fuck's sake. Where? You can't give a penalty for that. You can't give a penalty for that. Well, he's never getting on it. He's never getting on the cross. No, you can't give a penalty for that. You can't give a penalty for that. It's soft, and also he's never going to get on the end of it. You can't give a penalty for that. He's never getting on the end of it. Delo hits it at the highest point. No, don't get. He knows he's not going to give a penalty for that. Surely. You can't give a penalty for that. Oh, he's bloody given it! What a tosser! What an absolute tosser! You can't give a penalty for that. He's never getting it. He's never getting it. You can't give a penalty for that. His mum doesn't do his hair because he ain't bloody got any. Shaves his hair off like a skinhead. He thinks he's fucking Phil Mitchell. Hard man now. Oh my God. I can't believe it. He's so soft. He's never getting on the end of the ball. He's never getting on the end of the cross. How can you give a penalty for that? How is that a bloody penalty? I just don't get it. I don't get it at all. I cannot. In a game of this magnitude, how? He's never getting on that cross. I mean, he'd have to be bloody... Oh, I don't know. Ridiculous decision. It's absolutely shocking in a game of this magnitude to give a penalty like that. The cross is about 5 feet above him. He's never getting on the end of that cross. If you'd have it your way, every decision would go United's way, says Brad. Mate, of course I'm going to fucking back Man United. I support Man United. It's a United channel, you bloody dickhead. But that's not a penalty. If I'm watching Liverpool, that's not a penalty. If I'm watching Arsenal, that's not a penalty. The ball is too high. He's never getting on the end of it. You have to take that into account. You have to. Come on, Onana. Bollocks. Bollocks. Absolute joke. Absolute joke. That is a terrible, terrible decision. I mean, it's not even... You know what, as well? I can't believe he's looked at that and thought it's a penalty. What a super twat. What an absolute prat. He's literally... All Højlund's done is put his arm there. There's no power to pull him down. Rodri's gone, I'm not getting on the end of that. Ugh. I've played the game. I've bloody played the game. Rodri has seen he's not getting on the end of it because it's too high, so he's gone, oh... It's simulation, mate. You're a fucking idiot. Oh, just don't believe it. We've been absolutely scammed there. Absolutely scammed. So, I mean, look, I get it. I know Liverpool fans don't like us. City fans don't like us. Rival fans don't like us. But he's never getting on the end of that, and he's dived. Watch. There's not even... He doesn't even grab his shirt. Doesn't even grab his shirt. It's just an arm there. You know, I tell you what, Højlund must have wrists of steel to pull him down there. Doesn't even grab his shirt. He is that ref should never referee again because he doesn't know what he's bloody doing. He's never played the game. If I were playing, I'd just start hacking the shit out of City, says Kenny. A lot of dubious calls against us while every other team can do the same but get away with it, says Mud. And take your red tinted glasses off. Clear penalty to get the ball is irrelevant. He pulls him down, says 58 go. Mate, you get yourself down to Specsavers. I'm wearing glasses. Watch the hand by Højlund. He can't pull him down when he doesn't grab a shirt. How can he pull him down when he doesn't grab the shirt? Watch the fucking footage back. He doesn't grab his shirt. He puts an arm there and it's a straight hand and Rodri pulls away from it. There is no grab of a shirt. It's not a foul and it's not a penalty. Dan says, spoke to TalkSport last night about screens at the Wolves. Never used first opportunity for City and the screams come out. Corruption, says Dan. I know, it's a bloody joke. I'm going to put a tweet out now and hopefully you can do this. Offside goal given. No red for Kovacic. Twice. No red for Kovacic against Arsenal. Yeah, Fulham, offside goal, goal gets given on VAR. Kovacic, red card, doesn't get given on VAR. Dodgy penalty, Manchester United gets given on VAR. It's the same old shit. Man City have had 3 massive decisions in 10 games. 3 massive VAR decisions in 3 games. It's a fucking scam. It's a scam. Cheating. Absolute cheating. Never a penalty. Michael Oliver is the VAR genuine... Is Michael Oliver on VAR? Don't tell me Michael Oliver's VAR. He's the fucking referee from the Arsenal game. Ryan Farrell says Gary Neville goes from saying clear penalty to saying it's soft. Well, Gary Neville's obviously against Ten Hag. I'm not listening to him, so look, people might be loading me shit. But all I'm hearing from people here is that Gary Neville's dead negative about Man United. I mean, he's meant to be a Man United fucking fan. Get behind the club, mate. Michael Oliver is the VAR official. This is ridiculous, says Omar. Oh my Christ. Oh my God. Michael Oliver on VAR. That is disgusting. You know, switch it off. Switch it off, everybody. This is... I've been on about this for weeks. I've been on about it for weeks, PGMOL. Absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. The guy shouldn't even be refereeing. He should be suspended. Go on, Rasmus. He's through one-on-one. Take a dive. Oh, he's gone wide. I think he was trying to go down. It would have been a red. He's still got it. Rasmus. Oh, Bruno into the side netting. I'll fucking love it if we equalise against these cheats. I'll bloody love it. Man cheaty. I'll bloody love it if we do this. Oh, Rasmus is in. Look at the pace. Look at the pace. John Stone should be sent off. He gave him a push. VAR. He gives him a push in the back. You can't do that. He pushes him. He bloody pushes him. Watch. Look, he's pulled him there, look. He's pulled him. That's a bloody... Come on, Michael Oliver, do your job. He's put his hand on him and he's pulled him back. Oh, we won't be reviewing that, though, will we? We won't review that, though, will we? Bloody cheats. We may as well be in London, aren't we? May as well be in bloody London. Bloody cheat. Cheats. I guess we should call every foul that happens 5 minutes after play, says Teeman. Exactly. Well, look. Rasmus is through one-on-one there. Stones has put his hand on his shoulder and give him a little bit of that. VAR genuinely makes my blood boil, says Jordan. We've got to use it as an injustice because it is. We've been denied clear penalties all season and that was given to City, says Dan. You know what? The thing is, I will put my hands up. If Haaland's through one-on-one and Johnny Evans tackles him and it's a foul, I'll say there's nothing you can do about it. I'm not, as much as I'm red-tinted, I will honestly say if I think it's a penalty. But on that, I don't care whether I'm watching a Manchester derby or I'm watching Fulham play Brighton. That's not a penalty for me. It's way too soft. It's way too soft. And, every game should be refereed the same. But in a game of this enormity and magnitude, to give a soft penalty like that, the thing for me is that if Rodri's going to get on the end of it, I can sort of see it. But even then, it's so soft. But he's never getting on the end of it. Yakov says, I've been loving rugby at the moment, but the inconsistent officiating has absolutely killed football. Oh. Absolutely not. I mean, I can't do a poll on whether it's a penalty because everyone will say it's not a penalty. But, Manchiti, they've had a lot. I mean, look, the fact that Michael Oliver is on VAR, and this is the guy that didn't send Kovacic off. This is the guy that needs to look right. I'm just going to give you the facts here, right? If he's on VAR, he's the guy that didn't send Kovacic off against Arsenal twice. And he's the guy in a previous Manchester derby who sent Chris Smalling off, but didn't send Joe Hart off, who ran the length of the pitch and put his forehead on his forehead. That Michael Oliver has got history of being a bit dubious around Man City decisions. You go back and check Manchester derby at the Etihad. He sends Chris Smalling off for 2 yellow cards. Joe Hart runs over to him, half the pitch, and puts his forehead on the referee's forehead. Didn't even send him off. I genuinely want to know what is worth a penalty in the Premier League these days. Every referee has different rules, it seems, says Bart. Investigate these referees. Why have they got that prat on VAR, says CJ. Hoyland needs to be smart and go down there. He gets that all day, says Aldo. I know. That's what I was thinking about, really. thing is, you know, it's absolutely typical, isn't it? We've actually done all right today. But you can't concede first against City because it changes your game plan. Villa Champions League absolutely flying, says Dan. And I guess Gabriel doing UFC moves on Højlund isn't deemed clear and obvious enough to call a penalty, says Timon. Well, we haven't actually changed the plan so far, United. We're still very much playing counter-attacking football. Villa won 3-1. Everton beat West Ham 1-0. Liverpool beat Forest 3-0. Salah got a goal if you've got him in your FPL. And Brighton 1-1 with Fulham is actually quite a good result for us. But it's only a good result for us if we actually get something out of this game. Statistically, possession's still quite good. I would have expected that possession to be up to 60%. We'd love Haaland to just double foot Rodri's knee, make the penalty worth it, says Kenny. Well, let's just gather our thoughts here. I've never seen a decision go against City. It's a disgrace, says Aya. Blatant penalty if you ask me, says BM. Mark, never forget the nonsense Herrera sending off in the FA Cup final, says Jack. And was there something wrong with the beautiful game before it brought VAR in? What's Maguire doing there? Bloody hell. Clears it away. Missed a header. Was there something wrong with the beautiful game before, says Mike. We need to investigate the bank accounts. I mean, I don't know what goes on here. Maguire tries to head it away and it hits the low. And it could have been a bloody own goal there. What's he doing? Okay, now. People are saying that'll be a handball. Well, give Michael Oliver a minute. He'll probably give it. But look, just in relation to the game, can I just say, is Scott McTominay playing in this game? Because I've not noticed him at all. I've not noticed. The first 5 minutes, I noticed him. And I've not noticed him since. Having said that, I'm just looking at this. Marcus Rashford's had 4 touches. He's had the least touches on the whole pitch. Oh, that's going to be a foul, Johnny Evans. Don't give him a yellow. Bloody hell. Rashford's had 4 touches and 3 passes. Nearly everybody in our team is into double figures for both. We've got to get Rashford in the game. He's absolute passenger. As soon as I saw that Michael Oliver was in charge of VAR, I knew something like this would happen. And lo and behold, it did. You know what? The thing about Michael Oliver, though, is, Vincent, I have to be very careful because the PGMOL have looked at my tweets and I've had feedback. So, you know, I know they watch. And they're not going to catch me out for saying something that's going to get me in trouble. But I will say this. The PGMOL have suspended referees for less than what Michael Oliver did against Arsenal. That was complete and utter negligence in one of the biggest games of the season so far. He shouldn't even be on VAR because he messed up the Arsenal game. And they got away with it because Arsenal won. But if that game had been a Man City win, that would have been one of the biggest outrages of the season. He shouldn't be involved in games involving Manchester City. He is dubious when it comes to Man City games this season. And twice now, in 2 of the biggest games of the season, he's come out with some ridiculous decisions. It needs to be called out. You know, if Howard Webb wants a conversation, pick up the fucking phone, mate. Because I'll sit there and I'll show you why it's not a penalty and why it was a red card against Arsenal. And I'll tell you what, if I was an Arsenal fan or a Liverpool fan or a Spurs fan or a Villa fan, I'd be on United's side here because you're trying to win titles. You know, we're just trying to get in top 4. You're trying to win titles. Man City have had an offside goal given this year against Fulham. They've had that penalty given, which you would not get. You know, they're being given points. They're being given wins. VAR works so well with rugby, cricket. Why the hell can it work with football? Must be the officials just good enough, says Pete. Seems like the Premier League this season reflects F1 Abu Dhabi. It's a farce, says Kmar. And Mark, the thoughts that are ringing my head right now is we are supposed to be the best league in the world and we can't get the best refs. Look, Slow Sports News, the fact that the gap, I didn't even know what he was going to VAR for. What was the gap between that free kick and VAR? Because I actually thought he was going to review a red card where Haaland and Maguire had gone up for a header, which was after the penalty incident. So the gap to the penalty was massive, absolutely massive. I don't know how long, maybe someone in the chat can tell us, but the gap for the red card was massive. And then the referee looking at the screen took fucking ages as well. So it's not clear and obvious. It's not clear and obvious. They've taken ages to look at that. So explain this to me. Yesterday, Anthony Taylor gives a penalty to Newcastle. Wasn't a penalty. VAR don't overrule it because they think it's not clear and obvious. So this referee on the pitch doesn't give a penalty, and then Michael Oliver tells him to go and have a look. But it's not a clear and obvious mistake. What, these things need talking about. What rules are they applying? So Anthony Taylor gives a soft penalty to Newcastle against Wolves. They don't overrule it because it's not a clear and obvious mistake. But in this game, referee doesn't give a penalty. Michael Oliver then goes, oh, have a look at this. Has he made a clear and obvious mistake on that penalty? Is it 100% a penalty? No, he didn't give the penalty. But then Michael Oliver says, oh, you might want to have a look at this. It's a contradiction. It's not a clear and obvious penalty. So why are you telling him to review it? Why are you telling him to change his mind? You've gone searching for it. Why are you searching for it? But then in other games, you'll go, well, yeah, it's always the same. It's like Casemiro and the grabbing of the shirt. They go searching for it, even though Ayu's done something to Fred. It's always the bloody same with United. They go searching for stuff. And this needs calling out. Because I know the fucking rules. I know the rules. They won't overrule a penalty unless it's clear and obvious mistake. So why are they telling him to look at a penalty that's not clear and obvious? They're contradicting their own stupid rules. And it needs calling out. And it's not just United fans who should be calling this out. Arsenal, you might lose the title by 3 points because of that. Same for Spurs. They are contradicting themselves, ruining this great sport. The annoying thing about the bad officiating is City don't need help, yet they've been gifted points. How does that make the league fair? It's a disgrace, says Kay. And if you bring revenue for the Premier League, you will be helped by refs. There ain't no... Davan, there is no way the Premier League are doing anything about Man City's 115 charges. They're giving them points left, right and centre. Do you really think they're going to do anything about 115 charges? Not a chance. Not a chance. Premier League should be boycotted over VAR, says Titus. Wolves should have had a penalty. Calm down, Mark. It's a joke, says Jackson. And Mark Gabriel held Højlund way worse in the box in the Arsenal game, but that didn't get given, says Gustav. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Manchiti. 2 yellow cards here. Amrabat and Foden. Hi Mark, PJML have apologised so much to football clubs. I'm sure they just have a sorry template as a shortcut on their computer, says Stu. Oh, they won't apologise for this. They don't apologise to Man United. They won't apologise to us. We never get apologies. We as a nation are horrible towards referees. Nobody wants to do job, and with all the abuse comes a lot of pressure, says Ben. Oh, shut up, Ben. Piss off. You're talking out your arse. Now's not the time for a bloody whip round charity live stream. I'll tell you what, I watch a lot of amateur football, and I think that a lot of referees get a lot of stick, and I always am very vocal about it. But this is high-end football. They've got all the technology. You know, nobody should be abusing referees on a Sunday morning down the local park, but this is high-end refereeing in the best paid league in the world with all the technology, and they're making stupid decisions. I've got no sympathy for these referees or the VAR. You know, they're not mistakes. They're incompetence. If people make mistakes, I'll put my hand up. If we've got no VAR, I'll put my hand up. But this is technology driven. And they're making the rules up as they go along. Howard Webb's got a lot to answer for. Consistency is all we ask. And inconsistency is all we get every week. It's been a shocking week of decisions. Why not send Grealish off for hitting Amrabat, says Mott. Refs lost control here. The problem with VAR isn't VAR, it's the people interpreting it, says Ian. Yeah. Adam, thank you very much for your super chat. And Mark, does clear and obvious actually mean ambiguous and trivial in England? Wondering if there is a transition issue, says Christopher. Let's not get the referee and be the scapegoat. Horrible performance so far. We don't have any redeeming qualities, says Diego. And Grealish just hit Amrabat on the chest. No review, says Clayton. One thing that is clear is that it's never being given if it's on us. Oh, I'm not missing any of this. I've tweeted it. Retweet me at Mark Goldbridge. Tag in PGMOL. Does it have to be in the face to be violent contact now? Come on, United. On the break. Here's Bruno. Come on. Come on. Goes wide to Rashford. Ain't going to get that. Grealish punches Amrabat in the chest and gets nothing. No, Dimitri, it has to be in the face. Violent conduct has to be on the face or the collar these days. Or a stamp with your foot. You know, a punch or a push to someone's chest. Absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine. Fucking jokers. You would have thought Gary's ex-City, the way he goes on, must try so hard to be unbiased. He's biased towards the other team. Lewis, in my opinion, I think Neville and some of the ex-players want Ten Hag out. I think that's what it's all about. Oh, McTominay, good shot, good save. It's the first thing he's done in a while, but he did quite well. This is what McTominay can do. Strong. Got the shot. Oh, straight at the keeper, to be fair. Straight at the keeper. Either side of him, he might score that. I mean, keeper doesn't even do a great job with it, really. But we've got a corner. Let's have a look. Ericsson. Back post for... No. I mean, you know, 4 minutes added on here. I suppose the big problem is, though, is that... another reason you don't want these bad officials is because it takes away from the actual game, and it's very difficult to say that United have actually done anything much in this. Mark Viking says, why was Rasmus putting his arm round him to begin? Mate, you know what annoys me about that type of penalty as well? I haven't said it yet. What annoys me about that type of penalty is you get it happen on every cross in every game about 20 times a game. So everybody who's saying, oh, it's definitely a penalty, you're not watching football. You know I'm right. I've calmed down a little bit now, but you know I'm right. Those sort of grabs, they go on every single game about 20 times a game. So if they're going to give penalties for it, they're going to be giving about 10 penalties a game. And that's what I mean about the inconsistency. They decide to give a penalty for something that everybody does every bloody game. United having a bit of an attack here. Another corner. But look, you know, it's 1-0. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Maguire with the header. Just a normal Maguire header there. Wins it. No direction. If I was, tell you what though, if I was United, I'd be a little bit clever here. I'll be a little bit clever here. When you've got a corner and someone touches you, go down. You got to. I wonder whether Man United have got that mentality. You know, if I was Ten Hag at half time, I'd be saying every set piece we get in the box and there's any touch, go down. I tell you, I would. Mark, I still believe we can make a comeback, says Dart. Well, look, while it's 1-0, you can. We're getting a bit out. I think we're losing a bit of discipline here, though. I've seen Lindelof and Maguire getting quite physical, and we've got to be careful about that because we're losing. We can't lose any players. If you want to see world-class officiating, says Pete the Meat. Hold on a minute. They're on the attack. Bernardo Silva. 2-0. What a save by Onana. Bloody hell. That is a goal save. That's an absolute goal save, that is. How's he kept this out? Bernardo Silva with the cross. Yeah, I mean, Haaland should score, but you've got to give the keeper some credit there. It's a big save. he's made a save for him. Haaland knows he should score that. It's like an open goal, but credit to the keeper. Mark, if you want to see world-class officiating, watch the Rugby World Cup, says Pete the Meat. Clear, transparent, vocal and world-class. Yeah, we need that. We need that, Pete. I don't understand how the refs can be so inconsistent. It's not that difficult. Well, look, we're going to see it at half-time. Look, I'll put my hands up here and say, if I've missed something, I've missed something. But I don't think I have. I think we've been robbed there. Absolutely robbed. Disgusting officiating. And this is what I mean, please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're only 50 subscribers away from 764,000. So please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with the United Stand. We've got player ratings in the second half. We've got my match reaction. We've got the fan forum. Lots to talk about. And there's going to be lots to talk about at half-time. Because you know what? I always say this in the preview. I always say this to you on the 8 o'clock shows. We predict these games because we think we know what's going to happen. We think, oh, our team's terrible, their team's good, we're going to get smashed. Has that happened? No. But what we don't consider, and we have to consider even more because it's happening in every single game now, is bad officiating. We saw it with Wolves yesterday against Newcastle. We saw it with Bournemouth against Burnley. I think we saw it in Chelsea-Brentford as well. Casido should have been sent off and he didn't. Maisie, welcome to the Members Club. So many games these days are being influenced by the referee. And I think that this one is one of those. We're going to see the decision coming in a moment, but I just want to pause on this because there is a worrying theme with United that needs to be mentioned here. For all the injustice around the penalty, I just want to draw your attention to when we played Brighton, when it was 0-0, we were good with possession. When we played Brentford, when we weren't losing, we were good with possession. When we conceded to Brighton and when we conceded to Brentford, possession dropped. Same things happened with Man City. When it was 0-0, we were stuck around 46% possession for us, 54% possession with us. It's happened again. We've conceded and our possession has dropped and the team that's gone in front has gone in front. I don't know why this keeps happening. Answers on a postcard. We go behind and we start giving up possession. It's weird. You'd think it'd go the other way. When you go behind, you get on the ball more and you move up the pitch. But this is a problem for United. And is it a mentality problem that when we go behind, the heads start to drop? Because it's happened 4 times this year that I remember where we're doing okay, possession-wise. We go 1-0 down and the team that's gone in front actually starts to take more control of the game. I don't get that. Logically, it should be the other way. But we've got to get back into the game and we're gifting up possession and it's creeping. It's creeping to what I thought it would be. I thought Man City might get up to around 70%. And for most of that half, it wasn't. But it's starting to creep. Keep an eye on that. Varane on for Evans. Reguilon for Lindelof. Mount for McTominay. Eric Garnacho is what should happen half-time. But let's be honest, he won't do it, says Sean. And a lot wrong in this first half. But the standout to me has been Lindelof. Looks like it's his first time playing football, says George. Well, he's out of position as well. Stig says the refs in the Premier League are dictators and corrupt. I can't believe what I'm seeing week in, week out. I've lost faith in football, says Stig. It is, look, it's not just this game. Obviously, this is my club, so I'm very emotional about it. But, I've been very emotional about it a lot this season. When Liverpool had that goal that was offside, I'm not a Liverpool fan, but that was a disgrace. When Arsenal didn't get Kovacic centred off against them, I thought that was a disgrace. There are so many bad decisions happening all the time, and it is ruining the Premier League. And I'm tired of it. We're getting embarrassed at home by a City squad playing at 50% capability, says ICL. Mate, it should be 0-0. How are we getting embarrassed? And also, I would go Bruno in the middle, Rashford on the right, and Garnacho on the left. If he wants to keep McTominay on, fine. Maxim, McTominay's a waste of time. If you want to, I'm waiting for this penalty this penalty decision to come up, but McTominay's a waste of time. He's had a shot. People will say, well, he's just had a chance on goal. What else has he done? We keep McTominay in the team for those one moments. He does nothing else. He doesn't win the ball back. He doesn't drive with the ball. He can't pass the ball. He's a luxury player who might pop up with a goal. But you need more than that. And when he keeps picking him. As a Villa supporter, I have to admit that Man United are getting absolutely robbed by the refs. The yellow card was a joke, says HPN. It's a momentum shift because the team that scores has the control of the game now, says Trey. And the worst thing about the penalty is that it wasn't clear and obvious, but when it's United, Romero handballs, it's waved off, says Zakir. And Mark, I don't get why that penalty is given, but Gabriel can pull Hoyland the same way. It's corrupt, says Ring. And Mark, our performance has been awful anyway, but let's not let Awful officiating. Distract away from that, says Diego. In cricket, you hear the umpire ask for all the angles, explain his reasoning using available technology, says Elliot. And Ericsson can't run or tackle in a game where we will struggle for possession. He's a liability. And Lindelof at left back is pointless, says the mystery man. But if Regwell is injured, then what are you going to do? You're going to have to pick Lindelof, aren't you? But look, we're gonna see this penalty decision now. My big problem with this, and it's written into VAR, is that unless it's clear and obvious, the referee shouldn't be told about it. That's not a clear and obvious penalty. So why is he being told about it? And that's all you need to know. For all the supposition, if it's a clear and obvious mistake, you've got to look back on it. He doesn't grab his shirt and he's never going to get on with it. And also, the thing that annoys me the most is that, I mean, Maguire's on John Stones. Maguire's grabbing John Stones, look. Maguire's grabbing John Stones. So why are we giving penalties for this? This happens in every penalty box all the time. Now watch Højlund's hand here. He doesn't grab his shirt. There's no grab on the shirt. And Rodri's never getting on the end of that free kick either. It's just never a penalty. Never a penalty in a million years. And people who say it is, we've got to start giving 10 penalties a game then. If you want that to be a penalty, that's the bottom line. That happens every penalty box, every time there's a free kick or a corner. So we need to be giving penalties 5 or 6 times a game or 10 times a game. And that's my point. If you think that's a penalty, fine. If you think there's enough there for that to be a penalty, fine. But we've got to give a penalty every single time now. And they won't give a penalty every single time because that happens 99% of the time. It's never a penalty, which I go back to my initial point. Why is Michael Oliver, a referee in the Premier League for over 10 years, telling the referee he's made a clear and obvious mistake and he needs to review it? When Michael Oliver knows that those type of things happen in the penalty box 10 times a game. It's not a clear and obvious error. That should not be going back to the referee because it's not a clear and obvious mistake. It's something that happens all the time. It's soft. It might be a foul, but it happens all the time. The referee hasn't given a penalty and Michael Oliver's decided to go looking for something. And that's what's the problem with that. And I can speak calm because I know that happens all the time. And I know that is not a clear and obvious mistake. And I know that Michael Oliver has gone looking for it. In a game like this, he's gone looking for a soft penalty. He'll probably get a promotion off that. And it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And it's made a big impact on the game. And if you think that's a penalty, by the way, why has Jack Grealish not been sent off? Because if we're giving penalties for soft things like that, Jack Grealish has pushed Amrabat in the chest. The ball's not even there. It's violent conduct. So the contradictions are ridiculous. And look, obviously it impacts Manchester United. We're losing 1-0 in a derby. But, you know, it impacts Arsenal. It impacts Liverpool. It impacts Spurs. It impacts Aston Villa in a title race. It impacts them. Because Man City are being given freebies. They're being given free goals against Fulham that are offside. They're being given soft penalties against Manchester United. They're having players stay on the pitch when it's a red card. We've only played 10 games this season. Man City have had an offside goal given. They've had a soft penalty given. And they've had a player that should have been sent off twice kept on in their biggest game of the season. In 10 games, Man City have had 3 massive decisions go their way that shouldn't have gone their way. So, you know, open your eyes up. What's going on in the Premier League at the moment? It's a joke. Is anybody else getting offside goals given? Is anyone else not getting players sent off? Is anyone else? I mean, look, Curtis Jones for Liverpool. Chelsea have had a couple of players sent off as well. Not Man City. Paulinho literally elbowed a Brighton player in the face intentionally and they didn't even look twice at it. And then he went on to score the equaliser, says Bunnings. Well, I need to look at that. Yet Saliba nearly surplexing Højlund is into penalty, says the Inquisition. VAR can choose whenever they want a random little thing when across. Look, Gabriel, look, I'll say it and I'll say it again. If that's a foul by Højlund on Rodri, we've missed about... look, clip this. If that's a foul on Rodri by Rasmus Højlund, and that's what a penalty is now, and we've got a VAR official that's going to go and find a penalty for that, then the PGMOL needs to get a new printer and get a lot of paper, because I can guarantee you I can go and find you 200 penalties in the Premier League this year. 200 penalties that have been missed this year. If that's a penalty, I guarantee you I can find you 200 from Premier League this year that should have been given, because I know how often that happens. So talk to me and tell me I'm wrong. That I guarantee you I can find you 200 of those incidents in the Premier League this year. And in the derby, Michael Oliver's gone and found it. And I would send this message to you, Howard Webb. You're in charge of the PGMOL. It's a bloody joke. Your organisation is incompetent. But I'm telling you this. The referee on the pitch didn't give a penalty. Your VAR referee has gone and found something in a game of this magnitude to give Man City a penalty. And I'm telling you now, anybody can go and look at the Premier League games we've had this season and find 200 penalties that you've not given for the same thing. How is that right? How is that fair? In a game of this magnitude, you've got a VAR referee finding a penalty like that when there'll be 200 other incidents in the Premier League so far that have not been given. If we're giving penalties for that, mate, there's going to be a lot of penalties in this league, and you know fucking damn well that there won't be penalties for that in the second half, and there won't be penalties for that next week. And you know damn well you're going to speak to Michael Oliver and you're going to speak to your referees this week and say, we can't be giving penalties for that. We can't be giving penalties for that, and we can't be looking for penalties like that, because if we're looking for penalties like that, we're going to get 5 to 10 penalties per game, because that's what happens in every penalty box when there's a free kick or a cross. It's an absolute farce. I get it. People will say, Mark, he's touched him, it's a foul. But you're not listening. You're not listening to two factors. One, the referee on the pitch has not made a clear and obvious mistake, so why is Michael Oliver going looking for it? And two, tell me that you don't see that in the penalty box 5 to 10 times a game. And why are we giving penalties for it now? And I tell you what as well, I want to see every time that happens now a penalty given. But we won't, because there'll be games that'll be finishing up 8-9. Absolute joke. Bruce says it was a penalty. Well, I think I've explained to you why it's not. People arguing about each decision completely miss the point. It's about how inconsistent every decision is, says B. Yakov. Sounds crazy, but I don't even think it's incompetence. Maybe it's intentional. I've seen it in different countries that referees favouring one specific team, and after some months they get changed, says Shahin. Rui, thank you very much. Well, it certainly feels like Man City are getting a lot of preferential treatment this season. I mean, do these referees not realise Man City are the best team in the game anyway? Do they not realise they've just won a treble? I mean, you're giving them offside goals. You're not sending their players off when they should have been sent off twice. You're giving them soft penalties. Do they think Man City are Sheffield United or something? Do they think Man City need help? Unbelievable. Our club don't complain enough. Liverpool getting calls for them all the time since Klopp complained. Ever since he said we get calls, we don't get obvious calls. This is absolute corruption, says Kay. Even rival fans saying it's not a penalty. That's how you know the ref and VAR has had a shocker, says Tiemann. And did you hear them call the refs the big two, Mike Oliver and Paul Tierney, says the Pirate. Big two what? Foden should be sent off for headbutt on Amrabat, says Quinn. And VAR is there for easier match fixing, says Boza. Absolute joke. Absolute joke. And the fact is, you can't have that in a game like this, can you? Anyway, look, what do United do in the second half? Ten Hag can't believe it. What do United do in the second half? Look, we just got to hope that we can break away. We just got to hope that we can break away and get something on the break, because Man City are the masters of winning games from being 1-0 up. They have got a good defence, and Mason Mount set to come on in the second half. I think it'll be for Amrabat. I think he'll take Amrabat off because he's on a yellow card, which I don't know how that works. But I think we've just got to. We are playing counter-attack football. I know that. You know that. That's what we're going to have to do. There is still a chance we get back into this game. I don't think we can win it. Having said that, we have done it before from 1-0 down. Mike Dean agreeing all the time. Don't see the point, says Bears. And rugby's so correct. There's many laws, physical contact. Mate, I would absolutely love to be able to sit down and have a conversation with Mike Dean or Dermot Gallagher or Howard Webb. Because not only, I literally would sit them down like you would sit them down. Because I would say, why is that a penalty then? Well, because he's grabbed him in the box. So where's the other 10 penalties for the game, from the same game? Harry Maguire pushed John Stones. Why is that not a penalty? You can't give a penalty for that. And also, I really, really do think it's worth it, actually, if anyone's got the time, it's worth going back every game, just of this Premier League weekend, and seeing people grab each other and a penalty not being given. Mason Mount's coming on. The penalty incident is over now. We must get back into the game. Yes, Marco, we must get back into the game. If it finishes 1-0, obviously it's a talking point, but it's half-time. It's 1-0. We've spoken about it. Paul, thank you very much for your super chat there. Thanks everyone who's been a member of the channel. You can do that by clicking the join button. Nosk is a member as well. You're a legend, mate. Thank you very much. Mount, I think, is coming on for Amrabat again, which is probably because he's on a yellow card. But, you know, I'm not 100% sure whether that's the case, but we will see. I'm sure Ten Hag's going to be very, very frustrated in this game, and he's got every reason to be. Eriksen's still on. McTominay's still on, so it's Amrabat for Mount. Yeah. Sort of knew that would be the case. It's very predictable. Do I agree with it? No. But then again, we've got to try and win the game. So the reason I don't agree with it is because it's changing too many players all the time. You know, McTominay, is he going to be the number 10 now, or is he going to be the number 8 now? Is Eriksen now going to be the 6? You're not going to win games by changing your midfield at half-time every single game. And he did it. He did it against Copenhagen. He did it against Sheffield United. He makes one sub in the midfield, but he changes 3 positions. So McTominay has gone deep with Eriksen and Mount's at playing at 10. But in the first half, McTominay was the 10 and he's now the holding midfielder. So it's a constant reshuffle in the midfield at half-time every single game. And that is a suggestion that, well, it's not even a suggestion. It's a clear indication that, you know, he's having to change the structure of his midfield at half-time every game. So, you know, Mount's not coming on for Amrabat positionally. Mount's taking McTominay's position and McTominay's taking Amrabat's position, which is an admission of failure in the first half, isn't it? And it happens every game. Defensive midfielder for McTominay. Well, yeah, I worry about that. I do worry about that because the one thing McTominay can do is score a goal, and he's not going to do that from holding midfielder. And Bruno continues on the right-hand side. The timer's on, mates, as you can see. There we go. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. I suppose one positive we can say is that it's not been a defensive error that's cost us any goals yet. Defensively, we've probably been a little bit lucky twice. Erling Haaland should have had another 2 goals, if we're being honest, but they haven't scored those goals. And free kick on Bruno there. Attacking the Stretford end. Let's see what happens. Just a yank says, why Sofian gone off? Just seems to be the easy sub at the moment, doesn't he? I mean, he obviously loves McTominay, he loves Eriksen, he loves Bruno, and he loves Mount. So the obvious sub is always going to be Amrabat. Urban says, Mount for Amrabat, Erik Ten Hag is clueless. Well, it worked out all right the other day. Michael Oliver was also the ref for the Fulham City game, says 101. No, surely not. Surely not. Bruno, straight at the keeper. A disgraceful decision, read the pen. Still hopeful. Red pants have been put on. This is good news, Lloyd. This is good news. Why is Rashford still on the pitch? Says Tor. I'll talk to you about Rashford's individual stats in a minute. But if you want to check them out, One Football is sponsoring the Stats Carousel. You can download it for free. Links in the description or scan the QR code at the top. We have the collective stats going round for the teams, but they have the individual stats on there as well. So check them out. Lake on the Moon says, we don't know what the plan is. This could be a tactical switch to catch the opposition out. Hope so. Shane Hughes with the cross and back post there. Could have been 2-0 again. Foden ahead of Lindelof, who has been a bit of a nightmare at left back, Lindelof. I mean, he's lost his man completely there. That could have been 2-0. I'm just going to check that. What was the final score? Man City Fulham this season. It's not. Manchete versus Fulham. Okay. It was 5-1. But it wasn't 5-1 at half time. Oh my Christ. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm going to tweet this. It's 2-0. Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. What is it about our mentality in the second half? What a joke. What an absolute joke. Straight away at the start of the second half. What's going on with this bloody football club? All right, there's been an injustice around the penalty, but mark your fucking players. Where's Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire? Why is Erling Haaland free on the back post? What are you doing? It's like leaving your cow with Ronald McDonald. What do you think's going to fucking happen? Mark him up. He's just free. There's nobody near him. Look, Maguire, Evans, just leave him. They both leave him. They're fucking doing. I don't get this. You know what? MUFC used to be our name. You know, proud MUFC. We may as well change it to MILF, MILF. A former great club that everyone likes to still screw. It's just, I can't believe he's unmarked. I cannot believe he's unmarked. I just don't. Yeah, well done, centre-backs. Could leave the best striker in the world unmarked. And that's it. Game over. It's gone. Forget about it. You know, enjoy your Sunday. Get your roast on or, you know, fucking iron your clothes for tomorrow. That's it. It's over. Fucking over. I'll tell you what, I could write a book on what went wrong there. Defensively, an absolute shambles. Maguire goes to the front post. Johnny Evans goes to mark Rodri. And Erling Haaland ends up unmarked. Who and why is Johnny Evans marking a centre defensive midfielder? He's ran past 3 fucking midfielders. Rodri's a centre defensive midfielder for Man City and Johnny Evans has got to go and mark him. What's Mount doing? What's McTominay doing? What's Eriksen doing? I've got to watch this again. I feel like I'm Ricky. Unbelievable. Say whatever you want. Eric Ten Hag decisions are costing us this game, says Paul. And that's the thing. They play so many attackers. Our midfield and fullbacks need to help too. Absolute piss take, says SK. For some reason, my stream's just gone here. Oh, I'm just getting a black screen. Lindelof has been bad all season, but somehow at left back he's been even worse, as Gozzo. Wow, I mean it's just unacceptable, absolutely unacceptable. I don't know what's going on here now. I'm not even watching the game at the moment. I've got a black screen. Has anyone else got this going on, or is it just my Sky that decides to go down on the biggest game of the season? Why has it done that? Why is it doing this now? It's like bloody Peppa Pig again. Ivan's gifted 10 memberships. Thanks, mate. Oh, I fucking believe this. I don't believe this. I'll get it back. Bloody hell. Oh, it's back. Is it back? It's back. We're back. Not like we're going to win. It's not 3-0. Swivel on that, you bloody cheats. Still 2-0. 53 and 52. Yes. There's still a chance. They froze you out your screen because you dare call them out, says Marco. Well, what worries me now is that... remember, keep your eye on this. Keep your eye on this. 61% possession for Man City at half-time. At 0-0, they had 54% possession. They scored a goal. It went up to 61% possession. Let's see if it goes up again. Delow. Maguire passes it to a Man City player. Lovely pass. Just what we need. Alvarez wins a corner. I think that, you know, defensively, I think we've been shit. Really, I think we have been shit. Haaland has scored 2 goals, and he could have had another 2. I don't think we've played well. I don't think we've played well defensively. I don't think the centre backs have played well. I don't think Lindelof has played well. Delow's been okay. But I think Maguire, Evans, and Lindelof have been terrible. 2-0 down, and let's not forget Erling Haaland's missed 2 sitters as well. Midfield's not been any good. I mean, look, in relation to, let me just tell you this as well. You might not like it, but these are facts, and you know we're here to talk about them. Marcus Rashford has had we've got him on the ball more, actually, to be fair. He's had 18 touches now. I mean, Erling Haaland's only had 11. But that's how they play, isn't it? Grealish, good shot. They're all over us now. All over us now. Still in the dressing room as normal. I mean, Nana's man of the match. Nana's man of the match. Right, get it. Go on, Highland. Oh, he's never getting that. Kyle Walker. Man City have just moved through the games in this. Man City have just moved through the gears in this game. Second half, they've had 4 shots. We've had 1, and we're meant to be trying to chase the game. But look, you know what? I think that it's never a penalty, but I don't want to talk about it anymore because I've had a reality bite, and the reality bite is Erling Haaland is completely unmarked on the second goal. That's unacceptable. He was unmarked in the first half, and Arne made a save, and also he nearly had that tap in from Foden, who was unmarked. We're not picking up the runners. You know, we're like a broken Dyson. We're just not picking up the runners, and I think you can see their heads are gone here. You can see it. Man City are going to score again. Get Garnacho on, says Charlie. They're going to score again. I'm telling you now. It's going to happen. Grealish across the face. Sheikh Jazim is the happiest man today, says Jay. Well, Erling Haaland, watch this. This is a penalty. That's a penalty. That is a penalty. Why is that not a penalty then? Why is the Maguire one not a penalty? I want consistency. Why is that not a pen on Haaland from Maguire then? This is what I mean. The game's broken. It's absolutely broken. It's way worse than Haaland. than Højlund's. No consistency again. You know, I'll call it out when it's against us. That's what I mean. They've just proven my point. They've literally just proven my point. That's why it shouldn't have been a penalty for Højlund. Because Højlund hardly touches Rodri. Maguire's just wrestled Haaland to the floor. No penalty. They're just not consistent. They're not consistent. And that's the answer I'm looking for. Because that's why it wasn't a penalty by Rasmus. Because Maguire's just done 10 times worse. And they don't review it. And I'll give it to you, the boffins. Explain it to me. Please explain it to me why that's not a penalty on Haaland. Please tell me in the chat, why is that not a penalty on Haaland when Maguire's dragged him to the ground in the penalty box? We've just seen a penalty for less on Rodri in the first half. So why is that not a penalty? Feed says Højlund was grabbed by Gabriel in the Arsenal game. Horrible officiating. It's just inconsistent, mate. It's just inconsistent all the time. That's a penalty on Haaland if the Rodri one is, because it's worse. There's no consistency. And look, and that's a Man United fan saying that. That's a penalty on Haaland. If we're giving penalties like Rodri's now, you've got to give a penalty for that. You have to. Otherwise, you're inconsistent. Howard Webb, why is that not a penalty on Haaland when it's worse than what happened to Rodri? Howard Webb, please answer that. Dermot Gallagher, Mike Dean, Michael Oliver, tell us why that's not a penalty. Please tell us why we're not getting consistency in the best league in the world. I want to know why that's not a penalty on Erling Haaland, because it's definitely dragged him to the ground. So why is it not a penalty, but it is in the first half? Because you've broken the game. You've turned it into a fucking, pick and mix. You've turned it into a lucky dip. Oh, today it's a penalty, tomorrow it's not. Joke. Mainu for McTominay and Garnacho for Bruno, says Aldo. We're just not good enough. Our counter-attack sucks and we invite pressure, says Twix. Thank you very much, mate. Wixter says it's because an English player committed the foul. Well, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Fair play for being unbiased there. Spot on, says Mantra. Well, but this is the thing. I don't do it from a biased point of view. I do it from a fucking consistency point of view because I'm tired of it. I watch a lot of football and I want to understand what the officials are doing, and I don't. I don't understand that. And for that to happen in the same game is a disgrace. Paul Goodwin, open heart surgery. Horrid sub at half-time, taking off a CDM for Mount, who offers nothing. Geordie, you're right. You're absolutely right. The sub at half-time hasn't worked. I need to start taking some notes for match reaction. On TV, they said it wasn't called because he was too far away from the ball to make an impact on the cross, says Vacation. It's still a fucking foul. And Rodri was never going to get on the end of that ball either. This is on Ten Hag. When we're doing okay in the first half, he takes our only CDM off for no reason. Now we're getting mauled, says Sean. City done well to keep Rashi quiet off the ball, says R. George. They're dominating now, Man City. We've done nothing in 20 minutes. I mean, McTominay's a passenger. Eriksen's a passenger. Mason Mount may as well be sat on the bench. Rashford, we can't get in the game. Højlund, we can't get in the game. Bruno's on the fucking wing. Mark, we are playing NFL football again. Just long pass and no movement, says Rezwan. I mean, Onana's trying to run past Harry Maguire here. What, buying Onana and playing Maguire and Evans as well is an absolute waste of time. We've got we can't. I think people need to realise this. We can't play out from the back when we've got centre backs that don't want the ball. Like, you literally just can't do it. So we bought a goalkeeper that's it's hilarious, isn't it? It's like buying a Ferrari tracksuit, but you don't own a Ferrari. you're driving around in a Vauxhall Astra in a Ferrari tracksuit. You just look like a twat. We bought a ball playing goalkeeper, and we haven't got defence that can play out. Yeah, I agree with Jerry, one of our members. He says City are in total control here. Like what we could do with doing is just scamming a goal and then putting pressure on them. Like I said earlier, City don't need the help to score. Back to the game though again. What was the point of signing Mount? He's not as good as Bruno, and he's not a ball carrier either, says Kay. I've not seen Mount get on the ball yet. Here's Rashford. I mean, Kyle Walker's just won 2 headers. He headed his own header there. Centre-backs get the ball and every player cowers and doesn't come for it, says Reece Gregory. Brandon says PGMOL just thinking, saying sorry is enough now. They won't say sorry anyway. We won't get an apology. But I think, you know what, you're always going to have high emotions in a game of this importance, and you know, as you have these moments of clarity, it has to be said, it's disgusting how many times Erling Haaland's been unmarked in our 6-yard box today. I mean, he had that header that Onana saved really well. He had that he had that tap in from the Foden chance, which Onana saved really well. And then he's had the goal that he's just scored. I mean, the penalty, I don't count the penalty, but I mean, obviously it counts on his stats. But what I'm saying is, this is a guy that's actually, you know, been kept quiet by Arsenal, been kept quiet by Wolves, and we've given him 3 open goals, really. I just don't understand Erik ten Hag's selections and players playing out of position. I'm trying to stay positive, but it's difficult, says Brendan. Well, look, I think in relation to Lindelof, he's playing because Reguilon's not fit, and that's the only left back we've got. So I don't blame him about Lindelof. In relation to the centre-backs, Evans and Maguire, they're not good enough. But I presume Varane's not fit. So again, you know, can't really have an argument about that. McTominay in the team is on him. McTominay shouldn't be playing. I think he's an absolute waste of time wherever he plays. You know, a couple of goals against Brentford and suddenly he's starting for Man United. He's not good enough. You know, you can't... The thing about the likes of McTominay, and here he is, have a shot! Oh, he couldn't pass a fucking parcel. He couldn't pass a fucking parcel, that lad. Ericsson. Corner. That's twice in the game he's been in good positions to make a pass. We need to make a video compilation of all those penalty grabs and then get enough likes for PGMO to see it and be public ashamed, says Kanye. As fans, we're divided and it shows on the ground. We aren't as dominated as the Liverpool fans. Pep is still screaming and Erik ten Hag has sat down, says Sheehan. Well, look, if we can get a goal back, we might be able to have a bit of a grandstand finish here. Why is McTominay, Lindelof still playing? Bring on Reguilon and get Rashford off. He won't even challenge Walker, says Jack. Another corner here. Look, if I'm being blunt, Maguire's played well in the last couple of games. Johnny Evans has played well when we've used him. Scott McTominay scored a couple of goals against Brentford. And Bruno Fernandes, I think, was playing on the right wing against Burnley and scored a good goal. So, look, there's 4 justifications for Bruno on the right wing, Evans, Maguire and McTominay. But they are minority situations. Like, the vast majority of games with McTominay or Maguire or Bruno on the wing aren't good enough. And you can't... It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You can't be picking Scott McTominay in Manchester derbies and expecting to win. You can't be playing with Maguire and Evans at centre-back and expecting to win. It's like putting makeup on a hippo and expecting it to win Miss World. They're not good enough. They're not good enough. Now, why are they playing? Are they playing because of injury? In which case, you've got to look at the recruitment. You've got to look at the fitness department. Or are they being picked because Ten Hag thinks they're good enough? If he thinks they're good enough, then it will be the beginning of the end. It will be, because we've seen these players perform for Ollie and lose him his job. They're not good enough. It's as simple as that. Marcus Rashford. Oh, no. First of all, is he onside? He's onside. Oh, my God. I mean, he does everything right. He does everything right. He's in one-on-one, takes it on the chest. Second touch. Well, the second touch should be the goal. I mean, got to score that. Got to score that. There's your grandstand finish if that goes in. Got to score that. I mean, there's... Yeah. Mount was supposed to be Martial and rejuvenate our midfield. Says, damn it, I barely notice him during games. Rashford can't dribble 1v1. Doesn't go in for 50-50s. Neither does Eriksen. And Ten Hag's team selection is beyond me. Says, damn it. But if Reguilon and Varane are on the pitch, they should be okay to play for 30 minutes, says Shahin. And Mark, Ten Hag said Varane and Reguilon are tactical. Don't believe him, but you've got to do what the manager says. So this is on him. Kevin... I think he needs to clarify that. I'll write it down for the match reaction. But, you know, if he has dropped Reguilon and Varane, then he may as well go. I don't want him to go. You know, I want Ten Hag to be a success, but he may as well leave. Like, if he's dropped Reguilon and Varane for Evans and Lindelof, he'd have to go. I don't think he has. I don't think they're fully fit. Oh, great save by Onana. Great save by Onana. Haaland has this... Look at Haaland here. Just runs off Maguire. Great save. Man of the match. He could have had 6. He could easily have had 5. I mean, I'm racking. He should have scored that. He had a header save. Yeah, he could have had 5 easily. Easily. 4 attacking midfielders and not a single CDM. Please, someone take note of this, says Winston G. Maybe Eric Ten Hag bought into the silly media Harry record, says K. Maguire's record's good because he doesn't play against the best. And he's playing against the best here, and he's been run ragged, just like Johnny Evans. Man United have Leicester centre-backs partnership from 4 years ago, says World Tour. But this is the bollocks we have to put up with. It's the bollocks we have to put up with, isn't it? Sky, Paul Merson, Martin Keown, all going on about how good Harry Maguire is. But Man United fans watch it week in, week out. We know why his win ratio is good. It's because he's playing at home to Reading. He's playing at home to Everton. He's not playing in the big games. That's why, his win ratio is going to get impacted, isn't it? Because he's not playing in the big games. And when he plays in the big games, this is what happens. It's not his fault we've lost the game. I'm not saying that. But his win ratio is good because he plays against shit. He doesn't play against Arsenal and Liverpool and Man City. And when he does, he can't make an impact because he's not Sergio Ramos. He's not Virgil van Dijk. He's not a world-class centre-back. And as I said, he's playing at centre-back with Johnny Evans, and Erling Haaland could have had 5 goals. So it's not been a good game for Evans or Maguire, is it? Your job is to keep the striker quiet. Now, are they individually to blame for the goals? I don't know. But Højlund's off and Garnacho's on. Onana's man of the match by a very long way, yes. Yeah. A few people have had problems with the stream today. I don't know what it is that's causing it, but I can categorically tell you that on my streaming service and on YouTube, we've not dropped 1 frame. So, I don't know what it is. Anthony's not looking happy that he's not been brought on. Rashford's still on. So what's he done? Has he put Garnacho up front? Fucking hell. So Højlund's off and Rashford stays on. That's what's happened, yeah? I know. He's obsessed with Rashford, isn't he? I have to keep telling you this. I mean, I don't know how Scott McTominay stayed on the pitch, to be honest with you, either. Boos were loud after subbing Højlund, not good, says Shahin. This is the thing. Look, I think the fans have to stick with the manager. I really, really do. But the media are pushing the manager out. And the trouble with the media is they can create an agenda. And they will. Look, they created this agenda that Harry Maguire's a brilliant centre-back. We've seen today that he isn't. They've created this agenda that Ten Hag should be under pressure when if he beats Fulham next week, he's the first manager in our history to get to 50 wins quickest. You know, it's a tough one, isn't it? It really is. I'm going to whack player ratings into the video description because they are there for you to do if you want to get in early. We still have got 15 minutes to go, maybe 20 minutes to go. New champ when we down and attacking Stretford end. Keep your head up. We're Man United in the theatre of dreams. We're dreams were alive when you attack the Stretford side, says Mazin. Ten Hag sacking himself, says Anthony Jury. You know what? I said this in the first half, though. I don't think any loss against Man City is acceptable. But they're just, you know, I think there'll be people who think, well, it's only 2-0. Is Eric Ten Hag deliberately trying to lose his job? Sees the writing on the wall and knows the club is doomed, says Jesse. I don't know. I don't know about that. I need a stretch. Apparently, Eric Ten Hag told MUTV that picking Varane and Reguilon was tactical, says Luster. And Eric Ten Hag expects total football, I think, but we are more like total wallies, says SK. I'll tell you what I get tired of. I get tired of seeing Man City at Old Trafford in the second half in cruise control. The intensity of Man City has dropped. They've even given us, we've had a couple of chances because they've dropped. Like, they're not... As soon as they got the second goal, they know it's over. I knew it was over. And they have had a couple of chances since then, but they're not... Man City aren't even playing in fifth gear anymore. They've dropped down to 2 or 3. They're not as focused as they were. They'll still probably score. Don't know what is Ten Hag's principal football, total desperate football, says Annie. Yeah, but you know what? I'm also wide awake to the fact that people over-exaggerate when you're losing. I mean, we were never, ever, and only an idiot, with all due respect, would be opposed to what I'm about to say. Even if we've got our best team out, even if we're second in the league, we're not good enough to play against Man City and play total football anyway. Like, even Arteta will try and shut it down when he plays against Pep. So look, if you were ever looking for good football today, it was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. Eric Ten Hag can't come out like Conte and sabotage himself. These are his players. We can blame refs and owners and whatever, but this is embarrassing, says Jay. I love Eric Ten Hag, but Mark, some of his decisions have been shocking. Taking Højlund out and starting McEvans. Why do we have no play style and structure? Says Gummy. And how can a manager take off 2 of his signings to keep rubbish on the pitch? Rashford and McTominay, says Nacho. I don't know. He seems to have fallen into this similar trap that everybody does. Like Jose Mourinho was obsessed with McTominay. Ollie was obsessed with McTominay, and they lost their jobs. Like, he's not good enough for Man United. But unfortunately, we live in a country where the media are obsessed with British players, and you almost get pressured into picking them, but they're not good enough. I mean, Rodri there, 3-0. I mean, that is incredible. Rodri, unmarked, has a shot. Erling Haaland picks up the second ball, passes it across the centre of the box. It's 3-0. Where's your fucking win ratio now, Maguire? Come on. Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Eriksen, McTominay. Yes, we've had a dodgy penalty, but they could have had 5 or 6. You couldn't mark a piece of paper with shitty hands. It's ridiculous. Look at, who's this? Johnny Evans playing everybody on side. What's he doing? Rodri shoots. Everyone stands still. Maguire's stood on the bloody penalty box. Watch Maguire here. He's the centre-back. Rodri shoots. He's just standing there. That's where you should be, mate. That's where you should be. Just stand still. You should be on the fucking move. I mean, Johnny Evans should never be playing against Johnny Evans should never be playing up against Erling Haaland. It's not fair. He's past it. But, you know, unfortunately, football's quite simple, isn't it? And if you pick Maguire and Evans and McTominay and Lindelof at left back and Eriksen in the midfield, you're going to get stuffed. And we've tried to do it against the best team in the world. You know, it's not even a shock. Mario Franco says, Klopp survived last season because he had credit in the bank. Erik ten Hag can't keep this on going with just a Carabao Cup last season, says Mario. You know. It's just not surprising, you know. Just don't ever, 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 ever show me some bullshit, made up, manipulative stats about how we win with Harry Maguire in the team. Because as I said at the time, those wins will be based on shit teams played at home, because he doesn't play against the big teams, and when he plays against the big teams, this is what happens. You get absolutely annihilated. I like Eriksen, but he ain't got the legs for this. McTominay just isn't at this level. Rashford, unfortunately, is lost. Bruno on the right wing may as well have stayed at home. Question, who does he pick? We have no decent players, says Daniel. Jack says, the fact Man City don't even care. It's Manchester Derby's embarrassing. They're acting like they're playing Luton at home, taking the piss. And if we are what we are and City's the best team in the world, how come the result is so bad? Isn't the odds in favour of this result, says Frederick. I don't know what you're talking about, Frederick. Neville blowing smoke up City's arse all game is doing my head in. What kind of club legend is he? He doesn't like... Look, Neville doesn't like Ten Hag. Never wanted him. The interview he did with Carragher when they first got the job was a bloody disgrace. He doesn't like Ten Hag, and he's part of the problem with the media who just want to get rid of the manager. I would say this. Sack the manager. Go ahead and do it. There'll be a lot of people saying Ten Hag. Go ahead. I can't control what you do. No one can. If you want to start Ten Hag out on Twitter, you go fill your boots. Crack on. But I will say this. Have we got the same set of players that sacked Ollie, Mourinho, and even Van Gaal in some case But no, it's more than that. Have we got the same players that let Ranić down? Have we got the same players that let Mourinho down? Have we got the same players that let Ollie down? Yes. So if you want to go and sack another manager, go ahead and do it. If you think you're going to see a change, go and do it. If you think a new manager is going to come in and take this job on with Ten Hag's players, Mourinho's players, Ollie's players, some of Van Gaal's players, and do well, sack the manager. Crack on. If you think the manager's the problem, go ahead. But I have more faith in Man United's fan base than that, because I've lived it with them for the last few years. I know what the problem is. So, it's up to you. But I don't think the manager's the problem. I think, I'm not individualising this, but I can think of 7 names on that pitch that are downing tools and have downed tools before. Mark, do you think Sir Jim's changes will make the players more professional, says Ryle? If I was Sir Jim Radcliffe or I was Sheikh Jazim or anybody coming into this football club, I would be ruthless. I would be getting rid of some of these players. They're, big players. Arsenal were a meme once and now they are great. Why can't United just follow what Arsenal did, says Ian. And Tony, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. I hate to say it, Mark, but Ten Hag's action maybe shows he's had enough and may wish to leave with a payout as others have done in the past, says Chris. I mean, look, that might be the case, Chris. That might be the case. And look, plenty of fans have said that in the past. If I was the manager, I'd walk, For the quality we are these days, I think this is about the right result. Can't be disappointed when we just aren't good enough anymore, says Oddie. I'm still backing Ten Hag, but serious questions need to be asked, says Chiri. Mate, the club's a joke. Like, the club is a fucking joke. It's broken. It's nearly £800 million in debt. We didn't even buy a centre-back in the summer. We bought a goalkeeper that can play out from the back, but we've got centre-backs that can't take it from him. The whole club's a joke. It's a joke from top to bottom. These are not surprising things. I mean, he took Marcus Rashford off for Anthony. What's the point? 5 minutes left. Horrendous subs from Ten Hag. When I saw Amrabat come off, I knew it was over. Surely you've got to start questioning substitutions, says Ninja. I do. But I don't think sacking the manager. If you sack the manager, Darren Fletcher's in charge for the rest of the season. There's no money. There's no money to go and get anybody else, and there's certainly no money to bring a new manager in and buy players. So what is it you want to happen by sacking a manager? I keep saying this, and I don't think people listen. Why do you want to sack another manager? Why? What's going to happen if we sack the manager? A bit of a bounce like Ollie, and then you get stuck with that for 3 years. The only change that's going to make any difference to Manchester United is if we change the owners. And we've lost. We're not changing the owners. They're staying. So get ready for more of this over the next 10 years. It is what it is. We are what we are. We're a mid-table club. We lived through them too. It's okay to defend Erik Ten Hag until an extent, but his obsession to keep the team in this losing, then you are a problem too. But is he the biggest problem? If you think he's the biggest problem, sack him. I'm not going to be in control of sacking him. I never have been in control of sacking a manager. So if you want to sack him, that's up to you. But you're not going to make me say Ten Hag out because I don't think it's the problem. Bruno and Rashford have been invisible for 5 games. Anyone who backs them is dim, says FC. Well, Bruno's got an excuse. He's playing on the right wing. We've had bigger defeats against City, but this one feels like the worst. We've been made to look like amateurs, says Lee. Rooney, interim vibes, please. Yeah, he's doing a great job, Jolene, at Birmingham. Mark, Ten Hag had horrible recruiting during the summer. Yes, he didn't have support, but he got some extremely questionable decisions wrong, says Diego. Decision making in the attack is so bad. It was 3v3 when Eriksen got the ball. Midfield are lazy at it. The midfield are fucking lazy. That's not on the manager. They're fucking lazy. McTominay, Eriksen and Mount are fucking lazy. That's that second goal, that third goal, lazy. Fucking lazy. They don't pick up the runners. How can we think of Europe when we play like this? Says Trey. And Amrabat was on a yellow. If there was a tactical shape, he would bring in Mainu and not Mount, says Azet. Time to go. Erik Ten Hag, says Nan. Mark, I love Bruno, but there is no fight, says Victor. I thought the City fans have... I can't keep reading all these super chats, so I'd stop doing them. There's just too many coming in, and I'm missing what's happening on the game, so I'm just going to read these, and that's it. I thought City didn't have fans. Why are they all I can hear, says Robert. Last season, Erik Ten Hag was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He spent 300 million. The team is worse, says Chris. What has happened to Ten Hag? Last season he changed after the initial drubbing with tough decision favouritism will drag him, says Vishwash. Not one player on United could crack the City lineup. Well, I said that the other day, Rob. I said it the other day. Look, you know, as I said, if you want to be Ten Hag out, be Ten Hag out. It's no skin off my nose. I'm surprised, but, you know, I don't know why people are... I don't know why people are, you know, changing from what they said in the summer, which was, you know, you can't put this on the manager, but it always happens. I've heard it before with Solskjaer. I've heard it before with Mourinho. We can't make this about the manager, and then we make it about the manager. So I don't know why I'm surprised. You get what you deserve. If you sack another manager, you get what you deserve. Everybody's entitled to an opinion. My opinion is if you're going after the manager, you fucking deserve what's going on at this club. You really do. You know, when Ten Hag gets sacked and we're living off vibes with Fletcher and, you know, everyone starts playing well again because that's what these players are like, then you'll get what you deserve when he gets a 3-year contract and we're fucking shit. We know these players can, you know, raise it for a little bit. You need massive change. I agree with Chiri. You know, put Ten Hag, put Pep in charge, will fail. Put Zidane in charge, will fail. Put Klopp in charge, will fail. It amazes me that we've got the same players playing and people still, you know, people don't blame them. McTominay, Maguire, Bruno, Rashford. They've been here for fucking years. They've been here for years. When are you going to start looking at them? When are they going to start playing consistent football? You know, there's a lot, and I'm not blaming them either. I'm just saying to put it on the manager is incredible. And that's not to mention Richard Arnold, John Murtagh, the Glazers. You know, the club is not just one problem, is what I'm trying to say. The media will try and make it about that, but the club is not one problem. The club is a collection of problems. And people think that they can solve that problem by sacking the manager. And it's not one problem. We will not be a great club again until we adhere to Ralph Rangnick's advice, says Kia. Well, we are 15 points. We are 8 points off 4th place as of now. I don't think we'll get back from that. What about the penalty? Well, look, the penalty never should have been a penalty. Never should have been a penalty. But Erling Haaland's had 4 massive chances in this game. You're talking about a penalty that shouldn't have been given, but we weren't playing well before it, and we haven't played well after it. Anthony getting a book for being petulant. This team isn't as bad as we play. There are gaps, yes, but they ain't this bad. I don't want to see him go, but questions should be asked, says Suraj. Mate, Suraj, where have you been for 5 years? Where have you been for 5 years, Suraj? Can you tell me when we played good football or anything like that in the last 5 years? I think you're talking out your arse, basically, is what I'm trying to say. One thing I will apologise for is I don't know what's going on with YouTube today, but the fucking stream has been abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Up and down like a yo-yo. 4 minutes added on. You know what, though? On Mason Mount, I don't know whether it's just me because, you know, we've conceded 2 goals in this second half, but I barely fucking noticed him come on. Please blame the Glazers for destroying the club, says TJ. I barely noticed Mount in this second half. Really, really disappointing. 61% possession for Man City, 19 shots to 7, 10 shots on target to 3, 90% pass rate to 80%. I mean, 11 corners to 7. Another free kick on the edge of the box. This team would get relegated if we played it every week. It's shit. If they fight relegation and get relegation, They could change owners as God is my rock. Yeah, this team would get relegated. You pick that back four and that midfield, you get relegated in this league. Anthony showing is lashing out, says Danny. Thanks everyone who's tuned in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Oh, it's hard. You know, it's hard. It's hard to be watching this again. It happens too often. Happens too often. Keyser, there's nothing wrong with my internet. I don't know why it's going down for you. If you've ever YouTube streamed before, you go to Stream Health. Stream is healthy. It's never dropped at all today. If you go to your streaming service, you can look at your stats. It's never dropped once today. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. Answers on a postcard. Don't forget to do your player ratings. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. We're going to cover that on the match reaction. And then we've got Kev and Ricky and Beth and everybody on the fan forum as well. It'll be very interesting to see whether anybody actually decides to go Ten Hag out on that. But Pete says, stop defending Ten Hag. Pete, I'll do what I want. I think you're an knobhead, Pete, to be honest. I really do. I think that if you're going after the manager, you know what? There are people in the fan base that don't agree with each other and they're quite abusive to each other and they're quite vile to each other. I don't want to be. That's not really how I do things. But I think if you're going after the manager, you don't really understand the club you're meant to support. I just don't think sacking the manager is going to do anything at all, in my opinion. Anything at all. But if you want to do that, get yourself on Twitter. Be one of those people who start saying Ten Hag out. Please just go and do it. I'm not interested. I won't be doing it. I'm not interested in that. What I don't like is looking at Mason Mount and Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay talking to a referee when you've just been outclassed by Man City. Yeah, it wasn't a penalty, but it was 1-0. If you're good enough, you get back into the game. Absolutely dominated. It could have been 5 or 6-0. Shite. Absolute shite from the players, again, who aren't good enough. And please tell Sky to get the little stats thing up about how we win games with Maguire and how we're better with Maguire. You know, get him on Instagram as well. Do another interview. These players are shit. They're not good enough. Sifu says, I'm Ten Hag, but he ripped out the spine of this team when he got rid of De Gea and Fred, and it might cost him his job. Yeah, well, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. It was a mistake. Well, anyway, we'll talk about it on the match reaction. I'll see you over there. Do your play ratings. I'll be back live in a minute.